what it is. Let me see if I can hear myself. Anyway,
The views expressed on Talk Real Solutions, hosted by Tyrone Thompson at talkrealsolutions.com, are the views of Tyrone Thompson and do not reflect the views of talkrealsolutions.com, YouTube, or etc. The content here belongs to Talk Real Solutions and its many contributors. Views and opinions expressed by all contributors belong to them and not talkrealsolutions.com or Tyrone Thompson, the host, or etc. All data and information provided on the site is for informational purposes only. Talk Real Solutions makes no representations as to accuracy, completeness, correctness, suitability, or validity of any information on this site and will not be liable for any errors, omissions, or delays in this information or any losses, injuries, or damages arising from its display or use. All information is provided on an as is basis.
all right. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. This is Talk Real Solutions, and I am your host once again here on Thursday night, April the 25th, 2024. And if you want to join the show tonight, all you have to do is dial the number at 1-717-908-1834 and hit the participant code at 917324, and I'll gladly allow you to participate in this fascinating conversation that we have here each and every week. I'll just ask if you just be respectful and allow other people to talk and join and don't interrupt people. Can y'all hear me? Yeah, I guess I can. I can be heard. Let test. Yeah. Hey, what's up, MJ and Jermaine? Um, yeah. Yeah, that's it. So welcome to the show. And I don't know, it's kind of crazy this week. I have not. I'm gonna tell y'all. I catch it, like on the sly, because I am tired of this man, and definitely I am going to talk about him because I do every week. But Jesus Christ, when are we going to be done with this fool, Donald Trump? I mean, we literally got this man testing the fabric of our democracy with dumb shit at the Supreme Court. Like, can he have complete immunity? Jesus Christ! And they are literally questioning the Constitution, whether or not this man can do whatever the fuck he want to do, which is crazy. And then what else is going on? You had Stephen A. Smith make some step and fetch comments that he's trying to backpedal. Now he's in the headlines, and people embrace Stephen A. Smith, and then he say something stupid, and then they kick him to the side, and then he'll say something stupid again, and then they'll kick him to the side. I never really follow this guy because he's a talker. He's charismatic. People always follow those people that can that has the gip or gab, and I give it to him. He can speak, and he speaks well, and he speaks a lot, and that's all he do is run his mouth, and people follow people that can run their mouth, and that's what Stephen A. Smith does well. That's why he gets paid, because he can talk. And a lot of people in our community, they follow behind those people who can yap all the damn time. That's why people like Sarge. That's why I listen to Sarge. Sarge can run his mouth, and people like people that can run their mouth. You know, it's true. You know, he don't make no sense when he running his fucking mouth, but he can run his mouth, and that's the same thing with Stephen A. Smith. You know, and that guy, he said some crazy stuff. This got him in trouble with the black community, and then he's supposed to have went out there and made an apology, and you know us, we embrace him with open arms. Same thing with Candace Owens. You know, she spent all these years, you know, railing against black people and telling us, you know, slavery won't that bad and all this kind of crap. And then, you know, when she made her Jewish comments or supposedly anti-Semitic comments, you know, they kicked her out supposedly, and then all she had to do was go on the Breakfast Club with Charlemagne the God, who supposedly allegedly date raped someone, and they embraced her, and then, you know, now she's black again. You know, it's crazy. I love my community. I've always said that. I love my people. I really do, but we got some issues. And we'll open our arms to anyone. We should have rules about that type of thing, but we don't. You know, we'll embrace anybody. We'll welcome anybody back home. You know, you've been going away from home a long time. We'll open our doors and we'll let you put your feet up under the table and sit down and have a good meal. Welcome you back home. We've always done that. I don't agree with that little concept that we have. You know, you don't need to be back. You know, Stephen A. Smith, you need to stay out there. Um, with Donald Trump and his immunity case being held at the Supreme Court. And like I said, guys, I'm just shooting from the hip. And if anyone knows any detail about what went on, you all you do is call the number and press 1, and we can speak on this. It's 717-908-1834, and you hit the access code. I don't. The reason that I'm not following it because it's stupid. The reason that I think that it's not even worth my time is because the Constitution is clear. The reason that I don't believe that the Supreme Court should even take this thing up is because ever since this country has been created, the rule has been no one is above the fucking law. That's all I heard all of my life, is there's no one above the fucking law. That concept has never been questioned ever since I've been living. And whenever somebody does question that concept, all they do is point to the fucking Constitution, right? No one is above the law. So you got to ask yourself, why all of a sudden is there an exception to the core premises, to the core concept of the Constitution about there being possibly someone that can be above the law at this point in time? How did this even happen? And not only can this person be above the law, this person is allowed to be above the law after promoting and conducting an act of insurrection and rebellion against this document that's supposed to hold him accountable. How is that a thing? We seen the acts, the violations, the treason and sedition against the fucking document on live 4K TV. We seen them pissing in the halls of Congress. We seen them act. We seen them destroy that building. One of them got shot and killed on that day, conducting the destruction. Trying to stop the transition of power on that day. Because Donald Trump said, go there and do this. We saw that. And you telling me that there's a question whether or not he's immune from those actions? How in the fuck is those justices sitting up there in their black robes even having a debate questioning if that is even possible, that this man could be he could walk away and not be held accountable for trying to overthrow this fucking goddamn Constitution? That's why I don't look at it. Because at this point, this is a fucking clown show. This country is a piece of shit. Those justices don't even. It's a clown show. It shouldn't even be this far. Why do you even have that power? I was talking to Howard earlier, right? Because Howard said that he was following it a little bit. And he was saying that he was watching some news about they're leaning towards or in Trump's favor or whatever. And I told Howard, I said, well, I think that whoever's making the argument, right? Perhaps they should make an argument. If they're leaning towards Donald Trump's favor, they should make an argument right now that if that's the way you're leaning, then you're telling us if Joe Biden decides today that he wants to stay in office right now, if Joe Biden wants to stay in office and come up with a phony slate of electors today, then this Supreme Court would be okay if Joe Biden did the same identical thing that Donald Trump did on January the 6th. It would be totally legal for Joe Biden to do the exact same thing that Donald Trump did. If Joe Biden want to stay for a third and fourth term, coming up with phony electors, because he would be immune, according to this Supreme Court. Those people need to make that argument. Fuck all this looking back into history and all of this kind of precedence bullshit. I mean, we already know what the Constitution says. But with the Colorado decision, they don't even give a fuck about what the Constitution said. They don't care. So something else need to get thrown in their face. What if this guy did it? What if Joe Biden did it? Because clearly, those fucking highly educated fucking Ivy League fucking justices don't give a shit about what this goddamn country stands for. They don't give a shit about what I served 20 fucking years to the fucking defend. They don't give a shit what they raised their fucking right hand to swore to defend. They don't give a fuck anymore. For one fucking orange fucking idiot who fucking love to grab women by their genitalia. They don't care. For a guy who loves to steal fucking country secrets. They don't care. For a guy who loves to commit financial fraud. They don't care. Those justices that are siding with Donald Trump, and this is what I told Howard, is Trump is just the front man. Because we all talk about Trump, 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 but there are people behind Trump, just like the people that are funding Clarence Thomas, and the big money corporation guys that we don't never talk about, and they don't want us to talk about them. They just want us to talk about Donald Trump and Clarence Thomas. But those are the people that's keeping Trump up there. That's why we talk about that idiot all the time. It's because somebody is funding this idiot. Somebody is funding those people on the Supreme Court to keep these goddamn people it's just ridiculous. And those people that Trump gave tax cuts to, those are the people that are actually tearing up the damn democracy. They don't care. Do you think that the top 1% gives a hell of a shit about that document? They do not care about the rule of law because they never followed a fucking law in this country. The top 1% could give less than a damn about the Constitution. The richest of the rich don't care about democracy. That's what you're dealing with. While we down here at the bottom is telling everybody to follow the law. Nobody's above the law. The Constitution is important. We need to defend this document. The rich don't give a crap, and they're the ones with the power. They're the ones that's pulling the levers and pulling the switches. That's why I ain't looking at that shit. Because they're the ones that's in control. We'll sit up here and argue and debate about it all day long. But the people that really control this shit, that really are pulling the levers, the really that are controlling it, and really going to make the decision, the one that's wearing those black robes, and the ones that the lobbyists and the people that and the corporations, they are the ones that's going to make the decisions. We are going to be upset. We're going to be angry. We're going to say our democracy is at risk. Go vote. Right? While they reaching their bank accounts. And they have the power to make the decisions by putting a suit up there like Trump and Jenny Thomas and Clarence Thomas and Amy Coney Barrett. And make decisions that says one motherfucking individual is above the fucking law. How the hell did we get here? This is how we lose a goddamn democracy. With all of these intellectuals in this country with all of these Harvard educated, Ivy League, smart ass people in this country, we let one orange individual come in here, grab a bunch of dumbass sergeants and ABCs and turn them into a fucking army, put them in positions of power, give them Twitter accounts, aim them at the damn Supreme Court, and then they overturn this motherfucking country without one fucking shot being fucking fired. Ain't that a motherfucker? Not one bullet gone down range, and they aim a bunch of goddamn crazy people at Washington, and they overturn this damn country. With red motherfucking hats on. Red motherfucking hats and ivermectin. All right, guys, get your horse pills out. Let's go to war. Ain't that some crazy shit? What's up, Miss Antoinette?
Hello, Tyrone. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
I'm sorry that you are so hurt. I'm hurt too, but I'm sorry that you invested 20 years in this country by being in the military, and for them to slap you in the face like this.
Ain't that crazy?
Yes, it is. And Tyrone, do you think that they're going to have this, you call him the orange man, this idiot, back as president again?
I hope not. Now,
I hope not too, but I think so. I hate to admit it, but I think so. When you look at everything that's going on now with him, and this man, he's been a clown show, as you said, from the time he was running. I don't think it's been a day that he hasn't been in the news.
Not for ever since he stepped on the stage. We have not. There's not has been one day that we have not talked about that man. Not one day. And that's crazy.
Yeah, it is. That's why I'm like, man, when does this man stop? I mean, and everything that he does, that he gets a pass on.
Yeah, he's never been held accountable. And just like the case in New York right now, with the Stormy Daniels thing, Michael Cohen has went to jail for the exact same thing that Donald Trump is being charged for. And why is it such a big deal or a mystery that people say that Donald Trump shouldn't be held accountable for the same identical thing? I don't get it.
I don't either. And Tyrone, now he keeps hollering everything he does is hysterical, history making. All right. Now, you're going to be the first president that should be in jail. It shouldn't even be a question of it. He constantly keeps jumping up, and he talks about the judge's wife, his daughter, and things like that. Why are you messing with you? You worried about the man's daughter. And he doesn't, and he's bold with it.
Well, it's a tactic, right? And here's the tactic, guys. Donald Trump is not going to mess with people's daughter, but what he does is he has a whole army of ABCs and sergeants that will get on their social media accounts and actually go to those people's houses and threaten that judge's family, right? And that's intimidating, and we don't see that part. And I'll give you an example. For instance, with Nancy Pelosi's husband, right? That got to the extreme to where they was threatening Nancy Pelosi so much so that guy got a hammer and he went to Nancy Pelosi's house and he bashed Nancy Pelosi's head in. Think about all the years that they've been threatening Nancy Pelosi. That's all you heard was Nancy Pelosi, Nancy Pelosi, Nancy Pelosi. And that stuff culminated until somebody actually went and did something to Nancy Pelosi's husband. So that's what Donald Trump is doing when he's threatening these people, family members. Donald Trump is just saying, I'm just writing a tweet. But he knows that the army of idiots is going to go out there and try to do something to these people's families. That's what he's doing when he do that stuff.
Yeah, that's a shame because, man, I mean, you know, leave the people's families out of it. It's just really, it's really upsetting that, you know, we as a country is coming to this. And it's all behind this man running for president and can't accept the fact that he lost. I mean, if he's going to holler about the votes being taken away, well, even though I was not a Hillary Clinton fan, but remember, Hillary Clinton was ahead, and all of a sudden it switched, and it went to Donald Trump. You know, nobody went and tore up the country and doing all of this stuff because Hillary didn't get it. Now the same thing happened to him, and he, you know, he can't accept it. You know, so it's like, when does this man grow up?
Right. Well, see, Hillary Clinton, you know, I'm just going to say this. Hillary Clinton is 100 times, 1,000 times better than Donald Trump. And let me add this. Hillary Clinton is a corrupt politician. Hillary Clinton is a corrupt politician, but she's 1,000 times better than Donald Trump. I would not have Hillary Clinton. But see, and that's where we at in this country with politics. You see?
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Yeah, we're not in a good way.
Yeah.
Yes, you're correct.
See, but Hillary Clinton knows the rules of corruption. She knows how to stay in the line.
Yeah.
Donald Trump just said, screw the rules. I'm just going to walk all over the Constitution. In front of your face. Yeah.
Yeah, and he does it in your face. He doesn't try to hide what he's doing or anything. You know, he just comes right out and tells you what he's going to do. You know, just like when he said he's going to be a dictator for a day. No, you're going to be a dictator coming in and going to stay that way. And I think that if he gets back in, black folks and Democrats are going to have a serious problem with this man.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. He's not without a doubt. Without a doubt. Because soon as they took over the RNC, they got rid of some type of diversity, equity, and inclusion program at the RNC, which tells you they don't care about, you know, diversity. So
right.
It's a done deal for different types of races when it comes to the Republican Party.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I said. I mean, so to me, people that vote for him are going to be voting against their own interests and our interests as a race and as a people, but also against women's rights and everything. All that's going to be thrown away.
Well, I've always said that white women are the dumbest voting bloc on the fucking planet. I'm sorry for my language, but white women are the dumbest voting bloc on the planet because they constantly vote against their interests whenever they vote in the interests of Republicans, and they're the one that's constantly upholding the Republican Party because the Republican Party never vote in the interests of women, never. And the Republican Party always taking the rights away from women as far as equal pay, workers' rights, equality for women, and all of that. Women, the white women demographic voting bloc, they about to be the dumbest people. I don't get it. I understand why, because of racism, and all of that, but that's just stupid to vote against your interests.
Yeah, it is. But they do it every voting session. There they are.
But yeah, I don't know where this country is headed, and there's a lot of people. What's scary is there's a lot of people in support of the direction of this country, and I don't know if they're doing it because they're blind, or if they really want some type of autocracy, or if they want to be controlled like this.
Do
You
you
know.
think that some of it could just be talk, but then when they go to the polls, they'll vote differently?
No, because literally half of the country voted for Donald Trump.
Yeah, but I'm saying for this time around, you don't think that, people are actually sick of him?
I don't know. I mean, the only way you can do a temperature check is through the polls, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know, and I mean, what the Democrats should have did was gave us some new blood.
Mhm.
But they failed at that point. But I can't say anything bad about Joe Biden, because I mean the only thing that people got against him is his age. But as far as him
Yeah.
performing as a leader and actually doing stuff and getting stuff done, he's actually getting stuff done. You know,
Yeah.
I
Yes, he
know
is.
I know black people, they we've always got that angle about what has he done for us lately, and we're always going to have
Yeah.
that angle. But as far as the country is concerned, as far as infrastructure and jobs and the economy, gas prices, getting these this new energy, the Green Deal, he's doing all of that stuff. So I think he's performing really good.
Yeah. Tyrone, now let me ask you this. All of this talk about the Democrats being behind slavery, I didn't hear this stuff until Trump went into office. Did you hear about this beforehand?
The Democrats, what?
Being a part of being behind slavery.
Oh
You
yeah, I
know,
mean, the party switched.
yeah, I know they switched, but I'm saying before Trump got into office, I don't remember really hearing about it. But then once Trump got into office and it came due to election time again, then they started really pushing, oh, well, the Democrats had you enslaved and kept going on and on about that. And I
Well,
think it's just a strategy that they were using to try to get, black people to come on over to their side.
well, it is that they started saying it more because it is actual history. The Democrats, the Democrats were the ones that actually
Had us
were,
enslaved.
yeah, they was the ones that was
Hmm.
they was actually the ones that owned slaves and all that kind of crap, right? And then there
Yeah,
was a switch in parties because it was one of them things to where the black people were Republicans, and just like white people
yeah,
do, the Republican Party was doing so good that the white people took the Republican Party from the black people. That's what happened,
yeah.
and then all the damn white people just came on over to the damn Republican Party and they switched. But
Mhm.
now that they switched to the Republican Party, now they just doing looking back and say, look, the Democrats actually own slaves, and
Yeah.
that's just one of those things to where, because now that most of the black people are Democrats, they want you to turn against the Democrats. But that ain't how you're supposed to look
Mhm.
at that, right? You need to look at
Right.
politics in the era that you're in, right?
Right.
The era that you're
Mhm.
in, how is that party doing now? If you look at the era that you're in, and the party is performing now and benefiting you now, that's how you're supposed to look at that. But a lot of people don't
Yeah.
see it that way.
Yeah, that's the way how I see it. I mean, I look at who's going to do the best for me.
Yeah, but the way they try to bring that talking point, it confuses a lot of people, and a lot of people get confused. Ooh, the Democrats was on slavery and blah. Oh, I'm so confused. But no, politics moves so fast, and all of that kind of stuff. A lot of people get confused. But because
Yeah.
politics is fast moving, you got to know that it, you can't look at the 1800 Democrats and say that's me now. You can't do that.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
No.
Miss Elisa, welcome to the show. How you doing tonight, sis?
I'm doing okay, Tyrone. Can you hear me pretty well?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Hello to I don't know to the guest
That's
that's on the line.
that's Miss Antoinette.
Hi, Miss Antoinette. How are you?
Hello, I'm well, thank you, and yourself.
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I was
Good.
listening to y'all was having some good conversation. I agree with everything, and I've even heard as y'all was talking. We was talking about the party switch. I think I've heard stars even say Abraham Lincoln freed slaves. He was a Republican. I get angry every time because a lot of people are duped by that. A lot of people do not understand politics well enough to know there was a party switch. But you have them
Yeah.
saying that the Republicans on like certain ones that's pushing propaganda. There was no such thing as a Southern strategy agenda. There's no such thing as a party switch. There most definitely was. So I try not to even to get down into that. But a lot of people, because I see a lot of black people are saying this. The Republicans, Abraham Lincoln freed slaves. The Republican did this. The Republican.
Right. Uh huh. Right.
That's how, because that can kind of help justice to stay blind. It really
Yeah.
can. It can help justice to stay blind. But it's so much corruption has gone on, and a lot of our institutions are so worse than what I thought it was until this to where we are right now. And then I see so much corruption. You can then you skip ahead over Ford and Carter, and then you could take it on up to Reagan. A lot more corruption was going on with the institution. You skip past Reagan, then you have Bush, and then let's just skip on over Clinton, which he kind of was governing as a centrist anyway. You skip past Clinton, and then you got W, and there we go again. If we move on up to Barack Obama, was no corruption or anything going on, but he was kind of administering and ruling as sort of kind of a centrist, not piss off anybody. So certain things that he could have did, he didn't, or he tried, or whatever. And then we got to Trump, the most corrupt of all. And because all of the House and the Senate, all of them are bought and paid for by lobbyists. They're all bought and paid for, both sides. You have these lobbyists pouring money into their campaigns, and they vote the way their lobbyists want them to vote. You have APAC, you have the fossil fuel corporations, you have Big Pharma, and then you have, what's the other one for the industrial complex of people who make the weapons and stuff, warmongers. They all donate heavy to both sides. And they vote the way they want them to, not the way the people who elected them want them to. So because the politicians, both sides now, except for a handful, be trying to do some little something, got some progressives, and even one or two Republicans that's trying to vote for the way his district, what they elected him to do. But the overwhelming majority, they're bought and paid for by the lobbyists. And this country should have done something about the lobbyists and make it illegal or something, and giving these politicians all this money into their campaigns, and they voting on the side of the lobbyists. So if you look at it this way, all the House and the Senate, all of them are bought and paid for. And when they create legislation and different things like that, they vote on the side of the people who get in the most money. So that's done. So you got all of that corruption. Then the country puts in these kind of corrupt, and with Donald Trump, people who were very unqualified. They load up the benches with these unqualified judges, and they load up the benches with these judges who's going to vote, do what they want, do their bidding. So you just got the court system, the Supreme Court down to the lower courts. It's just a hot mess. It's corrupted. A lot of our institutions, Justice Department, is corrupted because what's the head of the Justice Department? I can't think of his name right now. He should have brought a lot of these charges and filed these things long before he did, and wait until it looked like Garland. It looked like Trump might be trying to get back in here, and you wait till now when you had everything stacked. Everything is just so corrupted because our politicians that we elect, they are bought and paid for. So they do the bidding of whom? The money people. Everything is just so, we need a reset, whether or not we will give it. Everything is so corrupted, they should have cut off these lobbyists and stuff, filling up these coffers of these politicians, voting for them. Hakeem Jeffries, I forget where he come from, which state, I'd have to look it up. But a lot of the black people and people who voted for him, they had a lot of hope. And I was listening to a couple of articles and read a couple of things. We all know Biden has gotten the most money from APAC. Okay, that's bad. But Biden been in office for, 50 years? So, of course, he's going to have gotten more money probably from different lobbyists than anybody. Because he's been in office, and that's why them people should be in office for so long. He's been in office. You know who's the second highest for getting APAC money?
Who's that?
Hakeem Jeffries. Hakeem Jeffries.
Yeah, see, that's crazy. All of them people out there are corrupt.
And Hakeem, but check this out. He's the second highest. Hakeem been a senator, what, 2 years?
Wow.
And you are the second highest? And they're getting all this money from Big Pharma and from these corporations. And then when people, and I was wondering why Hakeem was speaking when the Jewish Holocaust thing, he was speaking on their behalf. Why is he all hooked up and speaking at the APEC thing and speaking over here? Because he's gotten plenty of money from these people. That's corruption, but it's legalized corruption. All of our politicians are bought and paid for. My ex-governor, who I voted for, he's a Republican, but he ran on the center. Now he talking about how he's all for Donald Trump and how he's all for this. It's that lobby money. And I was going to skip the primaries that's coming up in our state and just did because I thought I was going to skip the primaries. But then when I read over some stuff, I said, no, I can't skip the primaries because our ex-governor is running for a Senate seat and he don't deserve it. So now we all got to go out to the primaries or send in the balance because we got to make sure it's two other candidates who I'm looking at that's real good. And I have a line of communication with one of their officers. It's real good doing the whole COVID thing. Excellent candidate running for the Senate. Now we have to get out here and make sure she wins the primary over him. So it's like it never stops. Who knows? She's a great candidate as county executive, but who knows? She's liable to get corrupted. I knew her from high school. She's liable to get corrupted.
Well, yeah, that money up there in Washington,
yeah.
deep. Soon as those lobbyists start picking them out, these people, they turn quick. Just like that one senator that everybody thought that was a every man's guy, that John Fetterman.
Fetterman. He turned out to be Fetterman pulled the wool over at Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Fetterman pulled the wool over them people's eyes.
Yep.
And he turned out to be the biggest disappointment. And then when people start checking to see who he getting money from, Big Pharma,
yep,
APEC, the industrial. I mean, they just start taking that money, and all the politicians are corrupt. And because all the politicians are corrupt, they have got the courts corrupted to the bone. And the Justice Department, well, they probably being corrupted, but it's just like they just almost wearing it on their sleeves now. You could just see it out in the open. They've been had corruption.
Yeah,
see it. They don't even care.
And those lobbyists are small fish compared to who's paying Donald Trump and Clarence Thomas. the people that's playing Clarence Thomas and Donald Trump, those people got deep pockets.
APEC got deep pockets too.
Yeah.
Big Pharma got deep pockets. The
yep.
industrial military people, they got deep pockets. Fossil fuel, you don't think the oil companies don't have deep pockets? Everybody is just all corrupt. I mean, you sit back and go, okay, here we just go. Are we going to stay here? Are the people going to allow the people to stay here? We just have to go, okay, who's the worst of the bunch? Okay, he getting more money from this, so you got to sort this shit out if you're trying to be responsible. He getting the most from this one, they get the most. How did this one vote? Well, they ain't really did no work since Biden been in office. Who is the worst? Who is it is? And you're trying to pick the least of the worst to vote for. Biden is the least. He's the worst.
Exactly.
But he's like maybe the least of the worst. You can still count on. You might be able to protest if he's still in office. Trump gonna try to get rid of all that. So you're just picking. It's sad where we all put the choices and the people to pick from, and the people is paying for all this. But it's like the people don't have a voice in it. Like that bill they just passed, and the media, they corrupt now too. When Trump was calling it fake, the media is so corrupt. this money to send the child tax credit that during the pandemic, so many families. I saw a lot of black women, they were saying working people that those child tax credits really helped them. It helped them to pay us some things, to get caught up. That was a godsend. And I was like, I'm not getting any of that. But I want them to make that permanent because it's helping the family, because
Right.
the people were sincere about how that really helped. No money to do it. So they didn't do it. The college students, my college loans, I finished them all. But the college students trying to get some money, maybe not get rid of all of their loans, but help them out a little bit, get rid of, eat up some of it, help them out so they can go ahead and pay them off and start becoming more productive in society when they finish. No money, can't do it. The Republicans constantly talking about cutting Social Security, no money to keep it solvent. Universal health care, we can't do that, no money to keep it solvent. But y'all can find the money to send there. And it's that kind of stuff that I'm going to throw Ukraine. I'm not going to speak on Ukraine, but Israel shouldn't be getting another dime. Taiwan, I don't have a problem with that. And some of the other monies that they're doing as aid, I don't have a problem with that. But you can find the money to pay for war. You can find money to get Israel when they have universal health care. They treat they soldiers as they veterans awesome. They have free living expensive. Everybody got free health care, all their college and all that. And that's just not the so. They treat their people awesome. But we don't have the money. Can we kick our veterans a bone? Our elderly, senior citizens? Hey, how about that taxpayers work their whole life and y'all still eating up their money? How about let's throw them a little bone? Every couple of months, some checks that they was giving people, it was giving us during the pandemic. How about all the 65 to 70 years and older? They can be able to get a little with those checks that they send. They can apply with their taxes that they do their taxes. Get them a little extra bonus. Those are senior citizens. They work and struggle their whole life and pay big time taxes. Nothing for them. The homeless people, let them sleep outside. And what they said what the price tag would be to help the homeless, we ain't got that. We got to cut Social Security because we can't afford to keep it solvent. No tax credit, no universal health care. And some of these southern states, including yours, Tyrone, it was cutting the Medicare, Medicaid, Medicare, whichever it is, for everybody. For the kids, it was cutting that.
Yeah, they just keep the money for the rich, and they convince they convince the people that don't make a lot of money that somehow or another that they got to give up more. They like you talking about our state is a right to work state, which means that they outlaw unions and all this kind of bull crap, and which means workers can't unionize and fight for workers' right and living wages and fair pay and all that kind of stuff. And it's just crazy how the money just goes straight to the top, and we can't. They don't, like you're saying. All of the money do not go to the lowest people. The money stays at the top. They don't. And they got the people like Sarge and other people's convinced that this whole trickle down thing is a real thing. The rich people are never going to give no more than they have to give.
No.
And the policies are written in such a way to where the money that the employers have to give is the bare minimum. They don't have they pay their taxes. They have to do that. But as far as the employers, they don't have to give no health care. They give the bare minimum at that. And the wages, they give the bare minimum at that. That's it. That's all they have to give. And as far as getting the increases in wages and minimum wage, they give the bare minimum. That's all they have to give. And you can't live off of what the government is telling employees to pay their workers. You can't live off of it.
They can give. And what was that? Florida cut the minimum wage in some of the counties. It's just, and this is the thing. This is the real, the number one trick bag. They got the people who paying for all of this, which is us. Whether how far down on the totem pole you are or how far up until just before you get to rich, we are all the ones paying for this. And they got everybody bogged down in the border wall, open border.
Yeah, that crazy
when
crap.
None of them are, that's crazy. When none of them are thinking that the rich elite who own these corporations, they want them people to come in so they can give them jobs and don't have to give them nothing. And they keep the American workers out.
That's the craziest
so
argument. They got us arguing about migrants when they're hiring the migrants. They're hiring the migrants at cheaper labor, and then they got us arguing about the migrants. And it's nuts.
And that's that trick bag that they got the people mad, upset about that when they don't really know the trick that the elites want them in here. Then another trick bag, they got the ignorant people arguing about the bathroom. Who can we need to get back here, take back our country, and keep the no such a thing as the chance and not using the bathrooms and to keep it bogged down on that. When you probably have never seen a trans person, but they got you bogged down in it. Then they got you bogged down in what's some people who dress up? I forget what you call them. Female impersonators read it in the library.
Yeah.
Don't send your kids if you don't want them to hear that. They got people bogged down in racism. They got people bogged down in. They just keep the people who paying for everything bogged down in the foolishness. While they over here playing bait and switch, throwing a rock and hiding their hands. And Trump was up in that when he was having that big dinner for rich donors. What was that, about 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
He up in there telling him, yeah, if I get back here, I'm giving y'all more tax breaks. And somebody leaked the audio. You think the people who's paying for it, who's talking about Trump, y'all don't hear that?
Well, see, something like that should have been headline news. That should have been national. That should have been all over the nation. That Donald Trump, yeah, but nobody really played that. Nobody really even cared. That was him being a hypocrite and him going against everything that he's supposed to have stood for. He should have been done whenever he made that statement, but they don't care.
But he didn't. Because the people are bogged down talking about Brad did this and that. There goes Brad did. He just messed this country up. You got the transgender people. What the fuck? Excuse me. What do you care? You've probably never seen one. Who's using your bathroom? They out here banning books. But some books said Martin Luther King was trying to get freedom for blacks. So they banned that. And got people all caught up in that. And DeSantis over there quietly lowering in the minimum wage. And people just don't see. And then the Republicans pretending that they're not trying to cut Social Security. Pretending they're allowed to get away with that lie that they're not trying to cut Social Security. They're allowing them to get away with that lie. Then you got stupid women of all races, mostly white, out here running with the white skin party line and voting against their interests. When that was why I was so upset and so heartbroken when Roe got kicked back to the states, was because all of us who followed that saw what all was going to come involving that. They was going to attack women's birth control.
Yeah, I remember that. That's what everybody was saying. ABC and Sarge came up.
Was saying that.
Yeah, they were saying, well, it's back at the states now. The states can handle it and all this. And we see what the states did.
They can't.
Yep.
And they can't handle it. It's just like all of these articles and stuff that women are ignoring. And a lot of the red states, and I named 3, Texas, Florida, and it's the other one, I think it's Arizona and some Iowa, or some place out there, one of these red states. And women, and Biden had to write out an executive order saying that the hospitals, he had to do this. Even though he didn't say pregnant women, he just said for everybody, all hospitals that are getting federal funding, you all have to accept all patients, or you will lose your federal funding. Because, and it still went in one end, came out the other. In some of these states, they got women who are pregnant and they're having an issue, bleeding, maybe miscarriage, who knows? And the emergency rooms are kicking the can, them down to another hospital because the doctors don't know what to do with them. They're afraid they come in here, and when they examine them, that it might be a non-viable pregnancy. And you know what you got to do if it's non-viable. You got to do what you need to do. And most of the time, they induce, fix up the woman, and this and that because it was non-viable. But doctors in certain states is getting caught up over that. They're getting caught up. They might, and they up in court lose their license, and some of them might end up in prison. These hardcore states that they, the hardcore states, but they don't know what to do, and they kicking the can. And you hearing these stories about women showing up in the emergency room, and they can't get the care that they need. And then when they do accept them in, and they find out if it's a non-viable pregnancy, which that's a common occurrence, then they send them home. And this is the thing that's devastating to me as a woman. They're sending these women home to expel the fetus. The body is supposed to naturally expel the fetus on its own once it becomes non-viable, but that don't happen all the time. It doesn't. Then they have to end back up in the emergency room when they need to do a D&C and take care of that woman. They sending them back because they don't even want to do that, because these doctors and people who went to school for forever could lose their license depending upon the state. And they're kicking the can down the road. And we knew it was going to come to this type of shit once Roe got kicked back to the state. They're trying to control your birth control because when they kicked it back to the states. Mm-hmm. And the one good thing that I am happy about, this is wrong to be happy about this, but in some of these hardcore states, they putting a freeze on, what is it you call it, in vitro. Right. Because now they're trying to say that those, when they mix the egg and this and that,
just trying to save it to have a baby later or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, and they are telling these, because how these clinics did, they could not destroy once they have, they have created the egg, everything is ready, and so when they're going to go ahead and plant it, sometimes they use some. You might have 8, and they put maybe 3 or 4 in you, then they have a baby, so they have some left over. They're not allowed to just destroy what's left if the couple decides they don't want them. They pay money, and they sit there froze or however they do it until they become and eventually they do become non-viable. Then they can dispose, but they can't dispose of them while they're viable. That's against the law. So now they're saying all of them is viable, and the people who started them processes, they got them eggs, they got those, it's not eggs, it's not fetuses, I forget what you call them once they put together. Well, anyway, my brain will come back to you later. That those are viable babies, those are humans. So now they got all that on froze. And a lot of fertility clinics are moving out of these states. They don't know. I'm glad that that's happening. You want to know why? Because that's usually people with money. Right. Who's able to, really get into the in vitro fertilization. It's usually people with a little bit of money. I know here in my state, if you're having problems like that, they pay for a certain amount of in vitro tries. The state will pay for it. So if the state will pay for that for you, and anything after that, you have to pay for it. A lot of states don't do that. But now these clinics is like, oh, Lord, what are we going to do? They leave it. They're trying to do this and turn it into a mess, and they packing up and leaving out of these hardcore states. I'm happy because that will affect the people with money. So they will start looking at this thing. So I'm glad that that's happening. It's not a good thing to be happening, but I'm glad because people with money gonna have to. Well, y'all messing with our in vitro.
Well, the
Right
scary
there. So
thing to
I'm
me
glad.
about all of this is people with suits are trying to tell doctors and scientists how to do
Yeah,
medical procedures and science,
yeah,
and that's just not right. Judges and lawyers should not be in the operating room, and that's a scary thing because now you got
yeah.
politicians and judges making medical decisions, and that's
And the medical
dangerous. Yeah,
and the medical doctors afraid to make medical decisions because they don't want to lose their license and go to jail.
right.
So we all of us who was so upset about Roe being kicked to the curb, knew it was gonna come to this. Like that black woman that had the miscarriage at home. Normal occurrence. Many women have been taking a shower, using the bathroom, and it fall out. That's a normal occurrence. It's happening to a bunch of women right as we speak.
Right.
It's a normal occurrence.
You see,
And we knew.
and you know that this conversation is about religion because they think every pregnancy is perfect, just like the Virgin Mary,
Uh,
and it's not because we're all humans, and a pregnancy is chemistry, and everything doesn't work out perfect, and they are miscarriages. That's why we got a name for it. It
yeah,
happens,
yeah.
and
It's
we
it's
don't want to
it's a,
see it, but it happens.
it's very common. It's common, very common. And see, and I knew it. A lot of women who say, I'm not looking for those services, but a lot of women who take this stuff seriously, me included, knew it was going to come to this. We was going back to the dark ages, to barbaric type stuff that's going on. That's what's happening around in the States. And then you got these stupid women voting on the side of white skin, not voting in when the election rolls around, what is it, November or whenever it's supposed to be? When it rolls around, every woman, well, people get mad if I say it this way, but every person, and I'm gonna have to say it this way because I don't want YouTube and this that. Every person with a uterus should be voting in the best interest of all human beings, all women with a uterus, because they're trying to pull us way back into the barbaric stages in the bad days. When the election roll around, every woman is supposed to go in there, and this is the problem because all of the politicians are corrupt, but you have to go in there and vote for the least corrupt. And every woman should be going in there voting blue across the board. Because I have to go along, and there's a lot of things that I don't like about Biden. But for women's health care, women's reproductive, women's reproductive care, what I heard in his State of the Union, to get all that other stuff, I'm for the Palestinians and all of that, all this and that. I support. I'm an ally. But when I heard him say, y'all put me back in office, y'all put the right people in office, they sent a bill to my desk, and I will I will bring Roe back and make it the law of the land. Codify that bitch. That's all I heard. And I'm voting blue. I don't care. They got him perched up in a casket and whoever else in a casket. I'm voting blue because we have got to save women reproductive and women's health care and women's rights, because they're going to keep rolling it back. We have got to save that. We have got to save that. So that's all and sometimes if you have to pick, I voted for Biden because of COVID. Me and you both said that. Because it
Right.
sounded like he was going to come in and fix up COVID. But when I heard him say that, I was like, everything else would be damned. I don't like him. But when I heard him say, you put me back in office, y'all put the right people in office, they put a bill on my desk, I'm signing it. And
Yeah,
I'm
that's
looking
what
at the
me. That's what
small
me
at
and
the
Antoinette
bad.
was saying earlier. Is white women always vote against their interests. I don't. When it comes to
No,
healthcare, white women vote against their interests because
against their
the
interest.
Republicans, they don't even give a crap about women's health care, and they govern that way. They just don't.
Yes. So I'm centered. When people say you one thing, I'm voting for one thing only, and hopefully some other good stuff get up in that too. But I'm voting singular. Women's health care, women's reproductive of health care, women's health care, and women's rights. I'm I'm on a single it's a single issue again. That I was on a single issue when it came to COVID because Trump was whoo, and single issue with Biden and other things with Biden too. But this go around because I don't like Biden. And some of these Democrats that's running, I don't like them either. But it's single issue for me. And here we are again, back to picking single issues. And if women do not get on board and get they act together, you are the average woman who is, I'm going to say 18, going up to my age. And me too. I have never lived in a world where Roe was not the law. I
Right.
have never lived in a world where women's reproductive health care was not, you see what I'm saying? I've never lived in that world. And I don't want to live in that world. I don't want my nieces. I don't want any other young women. And a lot of women not thinking that. Some of you all that live in blue states or that live in a state where you can hop a state over and still do some of the things that you need to do, you all really don't want to go back to where how it used to be. And y'all got to take that thing seriously. I don't want to live in well, we know that that's how it is throughout different parts of the world. But I don't want to live in a country in the United States because I'm a citizen here. That's my world. I can travel and do things, but I don't want to live in that world. I don't want to. I heard too many devastating things about it, and that affected people that was family members and stuff, and women being rolled back to the different. I don't want to live in that world. That's some scary stuff. It's scary, and I don't want to live in that world. So I'm single issue voting again, and that's sad. And I just hope more women heard what was said, because that's what caught my ear. What he said he was going to do for that, and that's what I want him to do if we're able to pull it off and get a bill on his desk. That's why that's I'm single issue. Everything else has to take a side seat. But that's where I am, and I said all of that to get here. But I don't know. I'm just scared at how things is going.
Well, I
I'm
mean
just scared, and
that's that's where they want us at. That's I don't know how where we're going to end up at, but it's a scary place that this country is going into. And like
it's
I was telling
scary.
Antoinette, is that Trump is the face of this stuff, but we know that there's other people behind this stuff pushing this stuff.
There's a lot of people behind it, so I'm scared. Um, and I don't want to be, but I'm scared, and I just a lot of people they just not. And then you saw about Stephen A. Smith. That dude contract is probably up, and I think a lot of that. What he out here with all this stuff, I never cared for him, Noah, anyway. But he was tolerable. But some people say he's up for the contract negotiations. He's trying to set himself. Stephen A. Smith don't care nothing about no black people. He don't care nothing about any of that. Stephen A. Smith, when he had came down on Shannon Sharp, when Shannon, I can't think of the comedian that he had on there, and Shannon's show blew up. He got the highest rating of any podcast, anything ever. And he came out and said some negative things about Shannon Sharp's podcast that he had with the comedian. I can think of the comedian's name. And it just blew up. And it sounded like he was jealous a little bit, that he was jealous because Shannon was getting all this attention. more attention than his stank ass the podcast was getting. He sounded jealous. So I think he's trying to find a niche.
Well, no, did you hear Stephen A. Smith comments on Hannity?
Yeah, I heard him on Hannity, and he was on 3 other podcasts, Blood Drink Champs, and a couple of the others. And some of the stuff he was just saying was like Shannon. I mean, not Shannon, Stephen. You know better than that. I know you're more intelligent than that. But
who is he? Who is Stephen A. Smith?
He was like a sports commentator. Yeah, sports announcer.
Oh,
but he
okay.
got involved in all kind of stuff. But I think Stephen is trying to find a niche where he's trying to gain a bigger audience. So that's why he's doing this. He's doing it for the bottom line. That's all. Because some of that stuff he was saying up on Drink Champs, I don't listen to Drink Champs. But when I heard he was on there rocking and running his mouth, I listened. And a couple of the other big podcasts. He's trying to widen his audience for the money. And he's hearing something about them rich people tax cuts. That's all Stephen A. Smith is doing. And people with a brain should be able to see right through that. Not a brain, but a little discernment to be able to see through that. He's trying to widen his audience. And just for him and him alone, not just for him, but him included and some other people. That's why I hope Biden and the blue have a blue wave, because the women get on board, and that's gonna fix Stephen A. Smith too, because you hung your coat on the wrong rack.
Well, like I was saying earlier, Stephen A. Smith,
he was saying is ridiculous.
He ain't going nowhere because he know how to talk, and he'll talk right on through this. Just like Umar Johnson, just like these other people who talk
right through it.
Yeah, he'll just
people will invite him to the cookout.
Yeah, he'll just keep right on talking through it. You know,
it's just shameful that you got so many people out here. They throw all the people up under the bus, saying that stuff that he was saying, and you know he knows better than that. And you just gonna and on the podcast and things that he was on, he's not gonna get pushback from Hannity. We know that.
No, because Hannity is a racist.
Yeah, so he's not gonna get pushback from Hannity. And on those other podcasts, drink camps, some of them other ones, they don't have.
This is why I stopped shopping.
They don't have the know it's all to give pushback. They don't know how to give pushback, and they just podcast that let people come on and talk and hope it go viral so they can get the clicks and the views. They're not there to give pushback, and they don't know how to give pushback because they don't have any type of knowledge or anything. So like Joe Rogan, like his podcast, one of the biggest podcasts out here. And when people come on, because he had Tucker Carlson up on there. Did you see some of that?
No, I did not.
Yeah, Joe Rogan had Tucker Carlson up on there. And Tucker Carlson said, I couldn't believe it. I don't know what Tucker Carlson trying to be the new. What's that old guy that kicked off his show? He used to do all them conspiracy theories.
Alex Jones.
Alex Jones. I think Tucker Carlson is looking for a new grift too, because he said that what do you call it? Oh my God, see my brain. I'm talking too much out. I forgot. As it relates to like evolution, yeah. Mm-hmm. He said that evolution isn't real. There's no science. There's no nothing to back up that evolution is real. He said God created man, and we have the information to back that up. And I was like, what? And I'm not hissing on religion or anything, but that's what he said, that there's nothing scientific to back up evolution. And he was naming all of these different, like I mean, he was just running it down and said, because God created man. And because Joe Rogan is a meathead,
yeah,
he doesn't have what it takes to give real pushback. And he said, really? What makes you say that? And he said, and he went into his shrill Tucker Carlson with that stupid laugh that he does with his goofy self. And see, because a lot of people, you can influence them with foolishness. And Joe Rogan said, well, the best Joe Rogan could do, because he couldn't argue, yes, there is scientific evidence to back up evolution. Quote this, quote that, quote this, that. He doesn't have the know-with-all to do that. So he has to say, well, I don't know. This is the best he could do. I don't know about that, Tucker. And then see Tucker get disputed. So this is what you're doing. You're trying to dumb down people even more than they're already dumbed down by telling idiotic people, mainly a bunch of MAGA and meatheads love Joe Rogan.
Well, that'll play good with the religious folks. What Tucker's doing.
Yeah, that evolution. And I was discussing this with someone. They said I think what Tucker's trying to do, and they was like, follow me here. Just follow me here. I think what Tucker's trying to do, because we all know as far as like man, as it relates to evolution and how we evolved, all life came out of where? Tyrone. All life.
Africa.
Homo sapien.
Oh yeah, Homo sapien.
So if all life evolved up out of Africa, came up out of Africa, if you just completely say none of that's true, and that there's no science to back that up, and that God did all of the creating, what does that sound like Tucker trying to do?
Well, he's trying to discredit, the origins of black people and
of man.
Yeah.
And of mankind. He's trying to. That's what he's working towards. And I said, stop. I think you on to something right there. He's not making it clear yet, but I think you on to something. Because we all know that man, evolution, all of that, everything to do with man and mankind came about the continent. So if you say that evolution and none of that's true, there's no scientific thing to back anything to do with evolution, but there is scientific fact to back creationism. You sound like you really getting ready to get on to something, Tucker, and you got a lot of.
That's why I didn't like
that would go along with that.
That's why I didn't like having those conversations a while back, because soon as we realized that DNA is a thing, and DNA proves children's and fathers murder cases. That was a done deal for me. If you stupid enough to say that DNA can solve a murder case, and then you going to argue with me about evolution, then I don't even want to talk to you no more. Because I mean,
there you go.
Yeah, it's crazy. Who's this unknown caller?
Big J here. I just gotta say something, because I said there's something in that chat room that really troubles me. This whole issue with ABC saying black people steadily defending and promoting abortion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is one of them talking points as if all black people are promiscuous and they're whores, or doing some, the whores and stuff. Negro, if you look up in your home state of Texas, ABC, there is a pandemic. Not pandemic. What's it called? Well, not a pandemic. What's the thing called? Not a pandemic. Well, anyway, there's a growing number of black women dying in childbirth while giving childbirth. I think it's called the Sin syndrome. That's why black women are getting abortions. That's why what happened in Texas, the same state in Texas. That's why that one woman was suing the state of Texas because she had the same syndrome. That was a white woman. You see, like people love these cookie cutter arguments and not trying to dive deep into what is the real issue was. The reason why people argue having these abortions. It's not like a woman just having an abortion. Oh yeah, I'm gonna get an abortion. as if though it's some form of birth control. Women who get an abortion not use it en masse as a way for birth control. They're using it because some other issues, some other online issues that a lot of these people in the right wing media seem to ignore. Can we be honest with the information? Can we actually do some research and stop following what somebody say on TV?
Thank you, Big J. Thank you for that.
Damn.
The whole time I was talking about Roe, did I mention abortion? No.
Right.
I said women's reproductive health care. That covered so much more than abortion. I did not mention abortion once. I mentioned women's reproductive health care. And that is what is becoming affected by that. Women with unviable pregnancies. ABC, if you're down in the chat, Google that and find what a non-viable pregnancy means that can kill a woman. And they're running into problems going into emergency rooms when they need help. Women who are bleeding and this and that, and they need help. And they're not there for an abortion. They're there because they need help, but they're being turned away. That's what I'm talking about. Roe and family planned parenting, yes, that was one of the things that they discussed. And one of the things that was on the table was abortion, but it covered a wide range of women's reproductive health care and birth control, you dingbat. Birth control. If we can make birth control free or affordable for everyone, then you would, a lot of cases, you wouldn't have this problem with talking about abortion. I never mentioned once abortion because I know that's like a powder keg. I didn't mention that. I talked about women's reproductive health, and a lot of things involving that is affecting women. I talked about people who are doing with in vitro fertilization. That's people who want babies, and that's becoming affected because Roe was kicked back to the states.
Right.
See, this is why people. Thank you so much, Big J. And this is why people who is so one-sided, they hear somebody say something and they throw everything out, like you just throw the whole baby out with the bathwater. Women's reproductive health care is so far greater than just abortion. That's only a part of it, you dingbat.
See, and this is view. I wish people like ABC were actually instead of doing all the manosphere talking points and doing that Christian what's it called, the Christian the Christian nationalistic talking points. You know, he needs to actually do some research on what he's talking about. The reason why people are pro-choice like myself, now I don't agree with abortion, but you know, yeah, but when we talk about pro-choice, we're not talking about she should just get abortion because she can. No, we're looking at it that there are other underlying issues on why she might need to get one. Why a woman might need to have it. Not because it's just an inconvenience because she made some choice, you know, with this man. No, if there is a problem, then therefore, though, if that's the only if that's the only way to solve that problem and save a lot, then let it be so. But yet you get niggas like ABC who watch Tucker Carlson and don't. I'm assuming that nigga never even read a book or two. I'm assuming this nigga never read a book. He just watched shit on the internet and just regurgitate, just like how he does with Kevin Samuels, just like what he did with Tucker Carlson, like just like what he did with Donald Trump. It's always a pattern. It's always he watched somebody, but he never really researched anything.
Yeah,
that's my problem.
That's what it is, man. Is that these people don't understand that whenever we talking about certain conversations, things are personal to people, and it ain't up to us to make those type of decisions for other people. And they come up with their own narratives and reasons why people shouldn't do certain things. It ain't none of our business why people get those type of medical treatments, and we shouldn't even weigh in on that. It ain't none of our business.
We shouldn't be involved in that. I'm not for abortion either, but I am for women's reproductive health.
Yeah, but it's like Big J saying they take these talking points from other people and then they think they got something to stand on, so they'll march out and then they'll repeat all that crazy stuff. They think it makes sense.
And you have nothing to stand on, because also what's being affected in that, women who are just about to full term, but then their doctors realize there's a problem. There is a problem. The pregnancy might still be viable, but it may not be viable. But if she tries to give birth or wait until she becomes, where the baby can be viable, that particular birth might kill her.
Mm-hmm.
Or if they try to save the baby and it kill her, the baby still may die. But the doctors don't want to make the decision to save the life of the mother. And it's a whole host of things wrapped up in that. And we knew that these kinds of things was going to happen. Then you got some states that they're saying, and since you want to talk about abortion, you got some of these states are coming out with no abortion, period. Even in the cases of child, adult rape, or incest.
Mm-hmm.
A whole bunch of stuff involved in that. But when some people get, and see, this is the thing. A lot of these rich people and some white women whose husbands and they have money and different things like that, they gonna get their stuff done regardless. Their daughters get caught up. They got the money to send them someplace to get their stuff done. This is the kind of stuff that's gonna affect poor women, black women. And black women, I don't want to throw a number out there. I had the stats, but it has since left me. But black women are, whatever it is, more times likely to die in childbirth than their counterparts. Then you got beds out here repeating stuff that you haven't even researched in. This is a big whole host of things that's going on. But then some black people are always going to argue for abortion when abortion wasn't mentioned out of my mouth. What was mentioned out of my mouth was women's reproductive health care. So a lot goes into that. A whole lot more that dingbats do not know about and they do not care. And it's affecting black and brown women more than it does white women who gonna get their stuff done. They want it done, they can get it. They daughters, they can send them and get it.
And there is a Texas Tribune, there's a Texas Tribune article talking about there's a pandemic of black women dying during childbirth, and then they were talking about and they were talking about all these other factors, and yet though the whole premise is, oh, black women having all these abortions. You hear that all the time. You hear that stupid ass Candace Owens and that coon ass nigga Brandon Tatum saying all that foolishness. Oh, black women having these abortions. Y'all only got that because of Mississippi and New York City. Y'all took a stat from New York City in the state of Mississippi, where you look at the black population. Okay, yeah, of course, they gonna take those numbers and juxtapose that onto all of black women. See, and that's one of the lies that conservatives always make.
Yeah.
Nobody here is for abortion. The problem is y'all lying about the numbers.
Right.
And that's why ABC.
That's the numbers, because let's just be straight up about the numbers. There are some people that go get abortion just to get abortion because they don't want the baby. Those numbers are out there, and I don't know what they are, but they are a great deal of people who go get abortions because of the health issues. Those numbers are really important, and those people need abortions, and that's who we're concerned about right now in this conversation. There ain't nobody talking about people getting abortions just for the hell of it. That's not who we're talking about. We're not talking about those people.
And then let me please add this. And then Trump, with his ass backwards off, out here talking about women are getting abortions post 9 months. And the media, that should have been blown up. Some of them showed it. I saw a little snippet of The View where Whoopi Goldberg's face went gray when she heard that. Nobody's having abortions after. He said they're having abortions after birth. Nobody's doing that. That is murder.
Right.
Hold on. See. Let me say something. Let me say something real quick. This is a maturity of a 60-year-old man, 60-plus-year-old man. Let's read what he said in the chat room. Let's talk about his maturity. Big J is unqualified for this discussion. He never had sex, let alone been a father. Well, that would mean I'm more pro-life than you, ABC. if we gonna go by this logic, I'm more pro-life than you, ABC. Because at least I had the morals not to put my dick in every goddamn body.
Oh boy.
You see how stupid that argument is? So he want to talk about what I do with my own penis, rather than talking about the facts that doesn't put on the table. You got a 60-year-old baby boom, 70-year-old baby boom ass nigga who don't research shit, talking shit. But yet he want to talk about you never been a father, you never had been sex, nigga. I never broadcast about what I do with my penis. Why you talking about when you supposed to be a heterosexual male? What I do with my dick is my business, nigga. We're talking about your talking point. And the thing is though, you have a childlike mindset. Time for you to grow up, you baby boomer having ass nigga. See that they're talking that bullshit. Go on. I'm sorry.
Y'all crazy.
Well, see, no, Big J, because see, you putting the facts. You got the facts and the facts. And when you come in with the stats and the facts, with people who don't bother to look up the stats and the facts, that's they only argument is to take it personal or what they think they know.
Yeah, that's why he start calling.
That's all that is.
He ain't got no argument.
That's why you start doing that, because you don't know the facts. You haven't studied. You don't care about the facts. You only care about talking points that's been regurgitated by buffoons, such as Donald Trump, who said people are getting abortions after birth. That's what's on your side. A grown-ass man saying that abortions are obtained after birth.
Yeah, that's called murder.
Are you serious? That's murder. Are you serious? And he said that a couple of times. And you're talking on their behalf. When a grown-ass man, almost 80-year-old man saying some ridiculous stuff as that. When that grown-ass man is lying to you, he's pro-choice. I wonder how many abortions has he paid for? And you're talking on that buffoon's behalf.
Donald Trump was pro-choice. Donald Trump put money in Planned Parenthood. You don't hear Sarge talking about that. You don't see ABC over here talking about that. Let's talk about how much money Donald Trump gave to Planned Parenthood before 2015.
Because he's pro-choice. He's pro-choice. He's lying to them.
And then though, when like the Dobbs case, when the Dobbs case was passed the Supreme Court, which was that actually destroyed Roe v. Wade, Donald Trump got on Twitter and said, well, that's going to hurt my campaign because they got nothing else to campaign on. Which means though, he needs these dumb these dumb evangelical. Yeah, I can't stand the evangelical community. How they, that's why that's part of the reason why though they're back in Benjamin Netanyahu and having this third world war. But that's a whole different topic. But then but anyway, that's nobody ain't sitting there checking Donald Trump. Like, wait a minute, hold on. I thought this was supposed to be about our morality.
Mm-hmm.
But they never want to check on Donald Trump's give him money to Planned Parenthood or supporting abortion rights and women's quote unquote women's rights and stuff. They never want to talk about that. I wonder why.
Because they know that he's deep down pro-choice. They know he's probably paid for plenty of abortions, and they know he's always supported that growth. But because he decided to tell them what they want to hear, lies about himself, and lies that he's Christian when he can't quote one Bible. Anyway, I'm not even going to get into that. But
it's supposed to be 2 Corinthians. It's supposed to be 2 Corinthians.
Yeah, and he said two. He can't quote. And when he said, I don't know much about the Bible because I don't claim to be that. But when I heard that, I hollered. I said, this man don't know nothing about the Bible. His family has said he's not religious. They were not brought up religious. They were not brought up that way. But he tells these people the lies that they want to hear, and the people, they want to be lied to. They want to be lied to. So, and then when they have nothing to back it up, they start taking personal shots at stuff that they think they know personal about somebody. That's a big think that you know personal about somebody. You don't know. So, I mean, this is just a sad thing. And this is what's running the world right now, foolishness.
I'm going to say something. Now, I might be I'm putting my little conspiracy. No, I ain't going to say it on here. But I'll put it in a different way. I'll say it in a different way. This is the reason why Project 47 and Project what's the other project? I've got the
25.
Yeah, 2025 needs to stop. Those 2 projects need to be eradicated because after reading up on Project 2025, I'm like, well, this is the Handmaid's Tale. This is the Handmaid's Tale, and this is it's kind of like what happened during Spain before the Spanish Civil War in the 1920s, 1930s. I mean, when you have a select few of religious nuts trying to control society. This is what I'm saying, and that's why I think the people like the manosphere, they keep on complaining about seeing single mothers. They complain about seeing the mothers, while at the same time, if you're a woman over the age of 40, you never have a child, they demonize you at the same time. So they see women as mules for baby making and nothing else.
That's it. Birthing receptacles. That's it. I heard this MAGA dude, he was giving an interview, and this is what's so crazy about black MAGA people. This MAGA dude, he came out and broke it all the way down. He said that everybody should have rights, all the races, and we should try to get things equal and all of this. Okay, he was sounding like he had a little discernment and cohesive thought. But he said when it comes to elections and people who are allowed to vote and people who are allowed to take part in that system, that it should only be white Christian males. And I laughed and I said, hey, these black MAGAs, y'all don't hear that stuff that these people are saying to you. They don't want you to take part in this. But you still go along with their rhetoric and you ignore their rhetoric. And he meant that, and all of the other men that was with him. Only white Christian males should be allowed to make policy to be able to make legislation, to make laws, and be able to vote, and to be able to elect leaders. Only white Christian males. I was like, y'all better say that and say it louder for the black maggots in the back of the bus, because they just is not paying attention. How on earth are you with a party, and this is what the people fundamentally believe, but then you still supporting them? They don't respect you. They don't want you. They don't want you being able to make decisions, but you're supporting them as if you're welcome, and you're not. You're not. And they had a real rich MAGA dude. He said he was doing all this talk. Yeah, Donald Trump is bad for the country. Donald Trump is this. He's an idiot. He's this and that, so and so. He said, but this guy was a billionaire. He said, but he will get my vote because he's pushing back diversity and keeping a certain group of people in charge. I was like, you better say that as loud as you can for the dumb black maggots in the back of the bus. These people, they're not running the same way that you guys are running. You guys are running on something else, but they're on a whole different other program over here. And not enough of them are really saying it. Elon Musk, too, he kind of says it from time to time, but they are saying what, and he's from South Africa, so there you go. But they are on a whole different other program than you all are. You all just haven't figured it out. And then they have the dumb black maggots coming, I'm voting for Trump because he gave us a stimulus check. And then when you try to tell them, Trump didn't give you anything. The House and the Senate voted on that when the bulk of the Republicans didn't want you to have it, but they managed to make backdoor deals to get it to go through. And Trump wanted his name on the check because he figured it would influence people, and it did.
And I mean, the check wasn't for individuals personally. The check was to give the economy a boost because the economy was kind of like stuttering, and they needed some money flowing. I mean, that's just the way it works.
That's all that was. And Trump didn't have anything to do with that. The House and the Senate, and they had to make backdoor deals to get them Republicans to vote on it because they didn't want to give it to you. But you talking about he gave us a check. And it's so sad. And I was wrong. And I'll tell you how wrong I was. And I told this young woman, I said, I sure hope you aren't registered to vote. Don't vote. Stay home. You don't have the sense enough to vote. And then I thought about that. I said, that's wrong of me to say that because everybody should vote. But then hearing a lot of idiots saying that, it do make you scared because they out here voting and they don't have a clue. They don't have a clue. And I'm sounding like those white maggots that's saying only white Christian males should be in charge of that. And I'm telling this young black woman that I still hope you ain't voting. Stay home. And I was wrong for that. Regardless of what she thinking, how stupid and how idiotic, let's just hope some people with some sense can outdo her vote. Go ahead and vote, sweetheart. Yeah. But let's just hope that we can outdo.
Yeah, that's what I was telling. That's what I was telling Ken and even ABC and TJ. When they was talking, and All Facts, when they were talking about voting down ballot and all that kind of stuff, I was like, well, don't throw away your vote. Go ahead to the poll and vote. You know, I don't agree with who you're voting for, but at least exercise your right. You know, go ahead and vote. You know.
Exercise it, and I was wrong, and I went back and deleted that comment because it was wrong. Even though I'm scared of what her mindset is, she has the right. I want you to be out there taking part in it. Let's just hope that there's enough people that can counteract your vote. But I want you to get out there and get involved and do a little bit of research too. That would help you along the way. But there's so much foolishness out here too. I don't know, Tyrone, Big J, it's scary. It's scary. And I am scared. I'm scared.
Yeah, and
so many people are blind. And people out here, and I saw some black people talking about Uncle Trump. And I asked a couple of
That
people,
is so
he
funny
said,
to me.
and I said, in that, and I was like, oh my God. And then they was like, I said, so I guess he can come to the cookout, huh? And I've always said trying to be fair. I don't, and I know, Tyrone, I doubt you agree, but I'm trying to be fair to Trump. I do try to be fair. I don't think he is as racist. I know people don't agree with that, as they put him out to be. He's too stupid. I don't think he's as. I think he's bigoted, yes, but I don't think he's as racist as people put on him. Because Donald Trump never really cared. I mean, what he did with the in New York, the boys,
Central Park
the
5.
young men that was, how he did with that was deplorable, and he still stood by it, even after they were found not guilty. That was deplorable. But put that aside for a second. Well, we should never put that aside, but you understand what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
I never really thought that he was as racist as people carry on, because I don't think he really cares about that. He cares about grifting, making money, being rich, being loved, and being fabulous. That's what he cares about. But he knew in order to run on the party that he was going to run in, he had to give them dog whistles, and he had to go along and promote a lot of that. And I just think a lot of that is all one big act when it comes to him. And the reason I'm saying this is he was giving one of his he was having one of his normal hate rallies, and he looked at the crowd. And he had a smile on his face, and he said, "Oh, y'all love the word what is that word they like to go on, woke." He said, "Y'all love the word woke and wokeism, don't you?" And he was smiling. And they was like, "Yay, yeah." He said, "That's the y'all like that. Y'all are against that, aren't you?" Yeah, yeah. I mean, they was cheering. He said, "But none of y'all don't even know what that is." And they was cheering. Then you know how you kind of catch yourself. And he was like, "Yeah, y'all don't know what that is." Anyway, he went on to rambling about something else. He's playing all of them. He's playing them, and he's doing it in your face. He's like, "You people don't know what
I
vote."
think he racist. I
I
seen a
know you
video. I
do,
seen a
and I know you
video.
don't agree with that.
I seen a video with him saying something about the casinos out there with the Native Americans a long time ago, and that was he was racist in that video, and not to mention the apartments or buildings that he wouldn't rent to the black people a long time ago. Him and his
I
daddy.
agree with you. I said he's a bigot. I said I believe he's a bigot. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
I do. Because I'm not going to go into family history, but his father had a lot of low income apartments here in the state of Maryland, and I'll name one of them for you: Sea Pleasant Gardens apartment. His father owned that, and I'll just go ahead. My parents, this was in the 70s. They just got married and moved to Maryland. My father was finishing up school. My mother was trying to go, and they got an apartment over there. And they were nice garden apartments. And Trump's father owned those apartments, but his father was. He said that the apartments was nice. Well, the apartment they was living in, which was the rental office building. So any apartment complex, the rental office buildings are going to be best because people have to come and see the apartments and this and that. So those are going to be very well kept. But evidently, the rest of the complex, they only lived there for like 2 years. My mother said maybe 2 years. And then they bought a house further out in the burbs. And his father owned Sea Pleasant Garden Apartments. And his father was such, what do you call them, old bad landlords? He was a slumlord. Mm-hmm. Yes, his father was a slumlord from the way back. A lot of different apartments he owned in Maryland and D.C. And they had a warrant for his arrest in in the DMV area that if they was going to arrest him because he was such an awful slumlord. So he couldn't come back and forth like he wanted to. So he sent the Donald. And Donald would stay in one of the apartments, one of the better units. And he would go around, do the different things with the rental officers, the collecting, the this and that. He would have to spend a night in one of the apartments. And he had that same old goofy pompadour. This is what my father and them said. They were nobody to them, just white folks. And he had that same old goofy pompadour. And the people would see this blonde-haired young dude with the goofy pompadour and that it's not a kerchief, but that thing, the ascot coming and going. And I know once they moved, they had found out a lot of different things about that complex. It was completely slum. And from that time on, when Donald became Donald, my father always despised him with a passion. When he was Donald Trump and we was all finding out about him, and he was becoming the big with boxing and different things like that. And they was like, that's that same old dude with that pompadour that used to be flying up around there, going to the apartment complex, coming and collecting. And he said they was all slumlords, all of them. Because his father couldn't come back to Maryland because they was going to arrest his ass. Some people have been scum of the earth, dating back so far back, rebrand themselves, become scum of the earth again, rebrand themselves, and now back to scum of the earth that a large portion of American blood. It's crazy. And like his trial that's going on right now, with him, they're trying to that with the call girl and all of that, and they talk about it's politically generous. I just don't understand. This happened before he was president. And the evangelicals, does it matter that he was paying, what was she, a call girl or a prostitute, whatever that woman was, that he was paying her having an illicit affair while his wife was pregnant and had a new baby at home? None of that matters. The hypocrisy of the evangelicals. And I even saw some white women saying, well, men going to be men. But he feels bad about that, I guess. Now, are you kidding me? Your hypocrisy runs deep.
Yeah, I don't get why they bending over defending Donald Trump with all of this corruption and crap that's going on.
I
don't understand
because he's giving the dog whistles.
Yeah,
he's giving them an opportunity to think that he's going to hold back because they see how the country is trying to move on the road to diversity, being pulled by the teeth to do so, but the dog whistles that he's given, like that billionaire said, he's going to hold back diversity so those certain people can stay in power. That's what it's all about. They don't care. He can do anything. They don't care.
Crazy. That is crazy.
And they don't evangelical supposed to be behind no man that was paying a call girl or stripper or whatever she was to have an illicit affair, and his wife is pregnant. She a gold digger anyway, but nonetheless, that was still his wife, and she was pregnant. I thought y'all supposed to be against that stuff. But then you want to talk about black women and abortion.
Well, that's what I don't get is ABC and Sarge come on here talking about family values and all of that kind of stuff and two-parent homes.
I don't get it.
Two-parent homes and all this, and Donald Trump is supposed to be the example of that, and he's on trial now for sleeping with not one but two, because you got Karen McDougal, that McDougal lady. She's another porn star that is in this case that Donald Trump paid off. So she's not.
I want y'all to notice something. There is two things I want to talk about, right? ABC said something in the chat room, said he's attacking the freedom of speech. He's pushing censorship. Well, wait a minute, ABC. Let's go up to what you said. You said I, Big J, shouldn't talk because I don't have no kids. I don't have sex, quote unquote. Well, isn't that a form of censorship, ABC?
Yeah.
See how that works? And now though he want to talk about freedom of speech, but then though he's the one trying to tell me not to be quiet because supposedly I don't have sex and I'm not a parent. You see how dumb that sounds?
What the hell y'all talking about?
Now, I mean the hypocrisy of what ABC just said in the chat room.
Oh.
And also I want you to notice this too. Notice ever since last January, you know how every January we always talk about MLK, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Woo 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 woo. Have you ever noticed you got people from Turning Point USA attacking MLK? Do you know that some of the evangelical communities now shedded their little facade, and now talking, oh, Martin Luther King never was a Christian, and you remember that? What's that pastor's name now? You ever notice it? Now, like the true self is not coming out.
It's coming out, yeah.
And nobody, and finally, and you know, but you see these black conservatives, they ain't saying a word.
Not one.
They ain't saying a word, but they always come over here. Telling black people, well, you know, man, you shouldn't, you shouldn't go by race, and you should, character over color, and I should judge. You know, they say all that foolishness, but then the same white people who they hang around with is bashing the person who says that.
Yeah. Because it was all a facade. When they were pushing him, and in a sense, trying to, a lot of his speeches and a lot of his words, they were changing it up, and in a sense, they were doing a lot of debauchery with a lot of his speeches, and they were cutting out certain things, changing it to mean because they were doing that, and then now they was like, the hell with it, we're just gonna go in. They just break it down the facade because they have been given permission and the bells and whistles to do this. But you know what? I wouldn't feel bad if I'm not a parent. I'm not a parent. That's because I chose and choosing not to be a parent. So, Big J, I get told that all the time. You're not even a parent. That you shouldn't have anything. That's why I don't talk about parenting and how you should do your kids, and just because people will tell you to shut up because you're not a parent. So I don't speak on parenting because of that. But when it comes to other issues, I will speak on it. I don't have to be a parent. I don't have to want to be a parent to speak on women's health care. But I don't say nothing about people when it comes to their parenting. Even though I was a child and I had parents, I have nieces, nephews, and I see how they're parented. But because I'm not a parent, I don't speak on that, because people say you don't have permission to speak on anything to do with parenting if you're not a parent. So just to appease that and not get in arguments, this and that, I try not to say anything.
Well, I don't agree with that logic. Anybody can speak on good parenting. I mean,
yeah, anybody can speak on it, but it depends on what company I am. I don't. Because I've had people say, well, you're not even a parent. You didn't even want to be a parent. So how can you have anything to say? Well, I was a child, and I had parents, and I have common sense. Because I was telling some people, like people who have children, and they're like, you need to whip them kids and do this and that. Yeah. And I remember once I said, well, how about listening to them? Children should be listened to. They should be heard, because that's how I felt as a child. Children should be listened to. They should be heard. The feelings should be taken under consideration. And you being the person that's going to make the decision, because you're the parent, you're going to make the final decision because you're the parent. You're the adult. You should.
I got to say something.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. But I mean, to each his own. Like ABC, he's not a horse, and he ain't running the Kentucky Derby, but he take horse medicine. So I mean, shit.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Notice what ABC said, right? But you're defending the illegals, Tyrone. You're helping the elites. well, Tyrone. Hold on, Tyrone. What state you live in?
South Carolina.
Okay, what state do ABC live in?
Texas, the last I heard, I believe.
Right. Okay. Now, I'm glad that you say that because wasn't the governor of Texas, who is my governor as well? Didn't he send those, instead of sending people back across the border, he sent them to Chicago that has a black mayor, sent them to New York that have a black mayor, and Los Angeles that just had a black mayor.
Well, which makes the immigration problem in America worse, you know.
So how with these promises of we gonna give y'all jobs in New York, we gonna give y'all housing in California, we gonna give y'all training in Chicago. But yet though yet the ABC's in the chat room. That's why though ABC does not want to have a functional debate. He can't debate. All he does is the same old talking points that he hear on social media. He doesn't sit there and research. He doesn't research what's going on.
Well, DeSantis tried that, and the group that he busted, which was crazy, with the group that he busted, he put on buses and took, or however they sent buses, planes, whatever, and got them from Texas and sent them to Martha's Vineyard. Remember when he pulled that stunt? DeSantis did that? And the people of Martha's Vineyard, they came out. They treated the people good. They bought hot meals, clothing. They set them up with a place to stay. Most of them ended up leaving. They're just about that whole group because ACL, different other groups, they took up the claim, and all of them are going to get their Visa cards because DeSantis broke the law by promising them people this. So all of them, he put them on the fast track to getting their visas. Some of them already got it. This law that was broken. So now they're going to end up having to get them their visas, and then they're going to end up making a quicker path to citizenship. So that's what him and spending the Florida, the taxpayers' money on that stunt, and it backfired. And the same thing is going to happen with y'all governor out there in Texas. All those people that they did that to, it's going to fast track them to getting their visas because it was a lie, and in a sense it was kidnapping and different things. Not kidnapping, but by lying to them, that's what they did. And they're going to be on the fast track to getting their visas. That's what stunts cost American taxpayers money.
And then though the narrative is these people who are being bussed are what? Criminals, they're the potential terrorists. But why did you drop these quote unquote terrorists, quote unquote, at the home of the Vice President of the United States?
Yeah, that was ridiculous out there in front of because her home is in
Washington D.C.
Observatory.
Yeah.
At the Naval Observatory. And they got all them people out there, and then they had to figure out what to do. It was just stunts, political stunts. The taxpayers' money. They claim they raised money, but that was taxpayers' money. Some of it. And these people are on the fast track to getting their visas now. And guess what? When the suits come through, they're gonna get a nice little bag too, at the taxpayers' expense for them doing that. They're gonna get a lawsuit bag. They get a lawsuit bag for that. And these are the people that you're talking for. These are the people that you're talking for. And people don't bother to research this stuff and see how that went and how it's going now that that's no longer front page news. How's that going? What are these people being given now? What are they going to get real soon? And they're going to get lawsuit money. But
because all that is it's called kidnapping by enfragglement.
Yeah, if I could afford,
that's why they're going to get a lawsuit money.
If I could afford to do exactly what those governors did, they would have locked my black ass up.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Is that trafficking too? That's also trafficking.
Yeah, it was.
That's human trafficking.
And that's in their lawsuit. That's in their lawsuit, and they're gonna get a bag for it too, as they should, because of the dingbats pulling stunts. As they should. They should get a nice bag. They're gonna get a nice bag for that. Pulling stunts. And people going along, these are the people that you're speaking for. These are the people that you're allying with, doing stupid things, and when it backfired, the people who was championing that, dropping them people off, this or that, they know with that check to see how it's going now. The lawsuits, the fast tracking to visas, the housing, everything they about to get, plus this lawsuit bag to bring and I don't have a problem with it, and bring their family. I don't have a problem with it. But the people who champion that, they're not following up on it and find out how's that going now. What happened to those people? How's this going to go now that the lawyers was involved? They didn't check up on it to find out how that stunt went and how it's going. Mm-hmm. That's what's so stupid. Stupid.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna get on off of here. But thank you for having me on. I gotta sit there and say what you
said. Yeah, man. I appreciate you calling.
You too, Big Jay.
All right. Yeah. Y'all have a good one.
All right.
So.
Brother.
You too.
All right. All right then. Bye bye.
All right, guys. If y'all want to call into the number. And
well, Tyrone, look like we have taken up. There was something I was going to ask you, off of this. Let's move away from Roe, illegal, the immigrants. There was something that I was mainly going to ask you about that happened this week. Oh my gosh. And my brain went dead. It's regular, God, it's something that's not important, but it was just something that I thought was crazy. Us black people. Oh yeah, I remember that. I don't know if you heard about it, but there is. I want to get the name correct. You might have heard about this, and this hurt my feelings when I saw this. Man, my feelings are too easy to get hurt when it comes to foolishness. Let me get the correct name. Hair care. Wait a minute. Hair care. Boycott. And I'm glad to see the people are doing this boycott. Well, the women, I don't want to say the name of the company, but the boycott is kind of all over the place. I'll go ahead. Eben. Eben is EBIN. And the women are, let me make sure I got it correct because I don't want to say the wrong thing. Hold on. Yeah, Eben. It's a hair care line, and I've never used their products, but I've seen them in the store, in the beauty supply stores. And it's a Korean company, and they had one black woman that worked for them who was, she was way up in management, and she was doing a lot of this social media, things that, helping to put with the company and getting the name out there, because the women who do use the products was saying that they're good products. So we're going to take away from the products. Overall, what I've been seeing the ladies were saying, oh my God, oh no, not even, because I use their products, it's great. They're Korean, but they were racist and bigoted, and the way they treated this black woman and one or two other black employees that were lower level. And so a lot of them had to get out, and they were putting the face of the people who was doing this black woman's work as an Asian woman, and she wasn't the one doing the work, her work. Well, she left, good for her, and she exposed them, good for her. And so the black women, they are coming together to boycott Even. Good for them. I don't buy their products. I've never used their products. But good for them. Good for us. You have to take a stand when they have things like that going on. I'm all for the boycott. I support the boycott, but something happened right up in the middle of the boycott. The boycott's still going on, and it's getting strong, and I'm with that. But something happened. Look at I ain't gonna say. He put out a video. This man, and he tried to call out the black woman who was one of their top dogs at eBay, and was saying she was lying, and she's not. He claimed I don't know. He claiming he works for them or what's going on. That she's lying against the company, and she's not telling the full truth. And how he came out and talked, like the wording that we use, this and that. So sis, tell the whole truth. It's not true. You're this and that. That hurt my feelings. I just wish, and when she is telling the truth, and the boycott is still going to go strong, I just hate to see when we do things like this.
Well, what you mean? What you mean? He called her out.
He called her out, was trying to say she was lying, that she was trying to lead the women astray, to go against Eben. She's not really telling the truth. And they have since pulled his receipts that he's lying. And I think it's smart. But to try to destroy a boycott or movement that needs to happen, because I'm not saying get rid of Eben. I'm not saying that. They have a right to exist, but they need to do fair practices. You see what I'm saying? That's all the people are wanting them. Y'all straighten up, get it right. Y'all do your fair practicing, hiring practices, and treat. And you should have some black people working it because it's black hair care products. And treat them with respect and treat them right. Don't discriminate and treat them like that. Get your act together, do a turnaround, and just get it right. Do it right. You don't treat people like that, and you don't treat the community that you're getting your money from like that. And we as black people should always stand up for that. We're not saying for you not to exist. We're not saying for your business not to thrive, but get it right and do fair hiring. And when you do have black people, treat them with respect and no discrimination. Stop that if you want our money. And everybody should do that when it comes to anything. It doesn't have to be, it could be a black company if they're doing that. Any company, any race. People are supposed to stand up and make people get on the act right when they're not doing right. Exist, but do it right. That's all they're saying. But for this dude to come out and try to dampen the movement and they using blackface. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, even got a statement on their website right now. It says, we are aware of the videos posted on social media by former employee and are conducting an internal review of the allegations she raises. Every day even demonstrates its strong, unwavering commitment to the communities we serve by providing highest quality products and celebrate the beauty of black women and women of color. We also take great pride in partnership with communities based on organizations, schools, and other philanthropic endeavors to support our communities. Now, you say this is a Korean-based company?
Yes.
Okay.
And no one is saying don't exist. They were saying just get y'all stuff in order. There's nothing wrong with that. People should boycott to make people get their stuff in order. If y'all not doing right, make them get on to get right. That's how things work. That's how it works here in the United States. You don't like a thing, you boycott, and you make people. Because remember when Starbucks had that big old mess going on, and people did the boycott, and Starbucks said, "Okay, we're going to get on the act right." And I guess I don't know whether or not they got on the act right, but they put their money where they mouth was. They said we're going to do diversity classes. If we're going to do this, we're going to clean this here up. That's all people is asking. And then you have this black dude come out and try to say she's lying and try to say she's not telling the whole story and made up all.
Oh, it was
stuff.
A black dude that was trying to call the black woman out.
Yes, and say she was lying and trying to throw water on the black women is trying to get together to make even do right. And it's just sad that you.
Oh, he was probably one of them
face.
red pill guys.
If you use a black face to do that, and be red pill, whatever that is you are, I hate this word, but be a coon. You got the right to be that, whatever it is that you're doing. Be that. You got a right to be that. But it just really bothers me to see black people.
And it's easy. It's easy to get black men to go against black women. That is the easiest thing to do.
Black women do it too.
Yeah, I ain't saying that they don't, but it's super easy to get black men to go against black women on social media. It
and
is.
It was good that the women ran him off, and I was like, bravo. Don't y'all listen to him. They ran him off.
Who's this unknown caller?
It's just terrible.
JMIC. I'm sitting back.
Okay.
That bothered me, but to see anybody, because when I see black women doing that, Candace Owens, and just other people, even on a smaller level, when I see them doing that, I have venom towards them. It's the same way I would have it towards the men. I know it's easier to get the men; it's very easy, but that just bothered me because I like to see when the community and I have to be fair. There's a lot of black men and out there, probably more LGBTQ because they use the product. They stand in the men. A lot more men in the LGBTQ is standing with the women because they use some products and stuff too, So they're standing with the women with the boycott that they're forming, and I love them for that. And that's why when people treat the black people and our LGBT community badly, I don't like that because they stand with us. Maybe not all, but the majority of them, they stand with us for what's right. And a lot of the men and stuff in the LGBT community, they stand in with the women. They're making the boycott videos and they stand in. And then you have this fool over here. This is a new day. People, they're going to rip you up and they're going to run you off because we see what you're doing. Hopefully your check, hopefully what they gave you was nice. I hope so. Because you had to show I hope the check was worth it. I hope you really needed it. But for you to still do that, do things like that, it's just awful. And then another dude I was going to bring up, he's a fat dude. He used to do sports announcements, I think. He's fat, and everything black people try to get something going, he goes against the grain. Do you know who I'm talking about?
I don't know.
He's fat. You know who he is. I just can't say. I mean, I'll pull it up right now. You know exactly who I'm talking about.
Who's this unknown call on the line?
Hi, Tom. What's going on? Oh, that's somebody.
Yeah, no, it's me. Hi, Tom.
Hey, what's up, Joe?
Yeah.
I see you in the chat room arguing with folks.
What happened?
Well, you got some fools in the chat room. Well, no, Sarge is still there yelling. And I just wanted to say, it's funny because I think that we have to understand that vocal energy does not equate to votes. So as much as Sarge yells and screams and hollers, it's just Sarge. He's one vote. And the people that are voting correctly for democracy, we're not even going to say for Biden, but for democracy, don't yell and scream and holler. They don't have to. Yeah, they don't have to.
That's true.
And so, Sarge can get blue in the face, bust a vein, and all that other stuff. I think it's entertaining as hell, and I laugh at it, and I appreciate the human Sarge. Sometimes you do spice up some very boring nights with your antics, but at the end of the day, you are not a pendulum, and you ain't swaying nobody your way. So
I like
and
Sarge,
all this Wolfie and all that. Yeah, I like Sarge too. He's funny as hell, man.
But you saying it ain't moving? It ain't moving.
I don't know who's the biggest comedian.
It ain't moving nothing.
Yeah, it ain't moving a damn thing. Not a damn thing.
In real life.
Yeah, between him and ABC, I don't know who the biggest comedian is. You know, ABC has this transvestite story hour every Saturday for his audience of 5, and that's cool. You know, but you know, let me get off and take a shot. Let me just say this. First off, I like how the fact that in spite of all the stuff that's going on, that the Democrats are governing. That legislation about outlawing non-compete clauses is huge. For those of us who are professionals who've had to sign one of those, oh my God, I'm so glad that went away. Even though I'm close to retirement now, and I'm no longer active, you know, in the IT community, I remember having to sign those things, and those things are pain because they can keep you from working up to a year or so after you leave the company.
So
you know, because they don't want to intellectual property.
This. So non-compete clauses don't exist no more nowhere?
No, outlawed.
Wow, that is amazing. That is great. People, y'all don't know how significant that is. That is freaking awesome.
But it wasn't just IT professionals that had to sign them. I had to sign them too.
Right.
Yeah, that's across the board.
Yeah,
that's why I asked that way because I mean that was. I mean, it didn't matter if IT, daycare, whatever. I mean, when I owned my daycare, I wrote up a couple of non-compete clauses because I've written them up myself. I said you can't go work at a certain daycare for a couple of weeks because you just left mine. You know, so that is cool. Yeah,
it is. It's awesome. Oh,
yeah. So you know,
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish.
No, I was going to say it's just nice that the Democrats are going about the business of governing. The insulin cap price. I mean, there's a number of things that's happening now that you know we just have not seen from the Republicans. I mean, basically, it's the Trump crying wine show. And so to Sarge, I say this because he had mentioned something about Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton didn't get on the TV every day and crying wine, brother. He never did. And so, you know, but every day we get the Trump crying, oh, everybody's against me. Oh, I can't get a fan of this. I can't. Look, if you're as big and bad as you're supposed to be, then why are you crying and whining, bro? You know, grab your sacks and man up and handle your business. And so, you know, but that's not what we see. This is why, you know, when they say America, they're laughing at us. Yes, they're laughing at him. They're laughing at a man who cries and whines every day on TV. Yeah, and won't man up and handle his business. Even the European leaders who get caught in scandals do not cry and whine like this. So, you know, it's just sad and funny that you guys are kind of making him out to be a strong man when he can't even handle himself in a court, a criminal court. I mean, goddamn, man, even the mafia people don't cry and whine like this. So, you know, I mean, the people he models himself after. So I just say that, you know, and also, too, the other thing I say, and I said it before, I'll say it again. If this case is such a farce as Sarge likes to put out, then how come no competent legal team will defend this guy? They would rather sit on the side and make commentary than step into the arena and defend him. You notice that? All these high-powered lawyers and stuff like that he's referencing, if it's such a bad case and so easy to win, then why aren't they defending him, Don?
Get the dream team.
Yeah.
Like OJ.
Even OJ had a dream team.
Where's his dream team? Yeah, he could pay for it. Think about it. Listen, if OJ, listen, a lot of these white people, you know, we don't have the evidence, but they say OJ had a killed and he got away with it, right? So then get a dream team so he could get away from whatever he's doing, if that's the case.
There you go.
But they can't. And again, this is an ex-president. This is not just a regular rich dude. This is an ex-president. Anybody that can successfully defend this guy is going to be set for life. But none of them are doing it. Nobody's stepping up because they know how bad a client he is. They know his shit. So they'd rather comment on the side than step into the arena and fight it out for him. And that says a lot. When people will not go to bat for you, when people will not go to bat for you, that says a whole lot about who you are. Regardless of whether they believe you're right or wrong, if nobody's going to step up and say, you know what, you know, I'm going to step into the arena for this dude. Now, then that says you're a dick, and they know you're a dick, and they're just betting on whether you get called out and accused and penalized for being that dick. So I just leave it at that. So y'all can go on.
That village people macho man flair is fading away. So he's into this toughness, and again, at the same time, think about this. Like you said, other people from around the world, but leaders see him. He's supposed to be tough, right? We talk about dictators, and then they see him crying like a baby. And also, as tough as he is, he sits his ass in the damn court and has to sit there and listen to the judge. Yeah, he does his outbursts, but he knows that he's very limited in the shit he's going to do. All that talking, that shit, he shuts the fuck up when he goes in that court and follows most of the rules and regulations that has to be done. Because he knows that, he's pushing it, because we got to give it to him, he's pushing it, but he knows his ass shows up in court. That right there tells you that he is obeying at least that law and has to go through the shit. If he was that tough, he'd say, fuck the law. I don't give a fuck about what y'all saying because they rigged the fucking election and I'm not going to obey by those rules. Guess what? He's obeying by the rules and going to court like every other motherfucker that got to go to court. I'm just saying.
Oh, y'all, well, let me interrupt and say something. Tyrone, are you shopping online? Are you shopping?
Yeah, I was just looking at a Sony camera thing.
Oh, I didn't know you wanted us to see what you was shopping for.
Yeah, it was
I
fine.
just saw that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I don't know what that was, so I was like, oh, Tyrone, are you shopping? I can see what you're looking at. Anyway, Jason Whitlock is who I was talking about. Tyrone.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Whitlock, the fat dude.
Oh, yeah. Jason Whitlock.
Jason Whitlock, yeah. He's another one that will say, I don't know how people get like that. He reminds me of, and I like Sarge. Y'all know I do. I think I probably like him the most over here because he's entertaining. And I do agree with some of the things that he says. I think I like him the most, and I try to be as fair to him, more so than the rest of you all. But he reminds me of Jason Whitlock. Jason Whitlock is just more...
Sarge reminds you of Jason Whitlock?
Jason Whitlock.
Yes, but Jason is just more calm with it. He's very calm. He's calmer with it.
Oh, God, that's funny.
Jason Whitlock gets like that. But no, I probably like Sarge the best over here. Well, maybe I don't know on the other night.
Sarge is the Black Sam Kinison. Look up Sam Kinison. That's who Sarge is. He yells just like him. That's what he would do.
Yeah.
He's the Black Sam Kinison.
You're right. But I like
all over the
entertaining. Place. And some of the things that he says, he's on point with it. He really is. And
he got some points, but he over exaggerates a lot of shit here.
I have a lot of conservative views. I still consider myself left leaning, but I leftist, right leaning. I guess that's what you would call me. I have a lot of conservative views, sensible conservative views, not the party that there is now. Because my dad is a conservative. But he tell you out his mouth, he's not a Republican. He has conservative views. And I think that's where I get that from. But I'm a left person leaning with some conservative views. But I am a left person. I consider myself that. But I just wonder how people get so far right that they see nothing. And regardless if you tell them things that a little bit of discernment, that they would be able to go, okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, you're right. But when you have some that they're going to counteract that with a counter argument, and I just don't get that. I just don't get that. Like, I'm conservative when it comes to family, but I have grown enough to know that family looks different now.
Well, that's part of the indoctrination and propaganda. Conservatism,
boxing it up.
Conservatism is not a political party. And they want you to think that somehow or another that's a political party,
Republican,
and it's not.
or this or
Yeah,
that.
the political parties is Democrat and Republican, and conservatism and liberal.
It's a way of thinking. It's all. It's just a way of thinking. It's used. But with conservatism, you have to be able to navigate with the times.
Mm-hmm.
That I know how the way people used to look at what family was, but in a sense, family has always looked a whole bunch of different kind of ways. It doesn't have to be mother, father, children. Families has always looked all kinds of ways. You could have 4 aunties in a house raising up kids. You could have a grandmother and a grandson raising up the kids. You could have Big Mama, her daughter, and 4 or 5 grandchildren, and they doing the best, and they are a family. And people never really looked at it that way. Family looks all types of ways. You could have 2 gay, you could have 2 LGBT parents, 2 parents, and they're doing a fabulous job. It's a family. And these people, they don't move with the time. Family looks however you want it to look, as long as everybody is doing their part and trying to see to it that they raise the young people up better than the best they can. And everybody is becoming a productive citizen, and that's your goal. That's a family, regardless of what it looks like. But these conservative people, they want to hold it back and say it's about that nuclear-ish. And no, it's never really been that.
Well, they keep trying to say they're conservatives instead of saying they're Republican. They're Republicans. That's
Republican.
What Sarge is a Republican. ABC is a Republican, and they don't want to say they're Republican for some odd freaking reason. I don't know why.
We know why.
Because
I do.
Because whenever they go to the ballot box, they're not going to vote for conservative. They're going to vote for Republican because you only got 2 options. You only got 2 options. You can't vote for a conservative political person. You only can vote. Yeah, you have to vote for a Republican. So I don't know why they keep trying to say they're not conservative. You know, not Republican. They're Republican. So this whole fucking that's what they are, and I don't know why they keep saying that.
But my dad is a true blue conservative, but he leans towards, like, when it comes to liberalism, for different programs and different things to help people who are in need, things like that. He leans towards social programs and different, that can help every average day American. He leans towards social programs, but he is a conservative in his thinking. But he used to be a Republican.
Mm-hmm.
He left that party. I think the last Republican he voted for, and this is shameful, was George W. Bush in the second, and George W. Bush George Bush was the last conservative, and he's proud to, not last Republican, but he's proud to say that was the last Republican he voted for. He was Ronald Reagan. Oh my God. He voted for Ronald Reagan. But when Clinton ran, he voted for Clinton. He didn't vote for, because he didn't like how Papa Bush ran things. So he voted for Clinton. Yeah, he voted for Clinton.
Well,
he didn't vote for Clinton.
I think the 2-party system is really one of the great mistakes that this country has made, because it gave this country a reason to be divisive and pit us against each other, and people chose sides. I mean, if you got a reason to choose sides, then people are going to choose sides, and that's what exactly has happened over the years. And then not only that, we was already divided by skin color, so it was only natural for you to jump on the side, with your favorite skin color, and that's what has happened over the years. So I think the 2-party system has failed.
Yeah. By class too. Can't forget class.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with it. It was just so much division anyway.
Yeah.
Coming out of what was the period? Jim Crow and all of that. Then you always had class going on. So that just helped to make it easier. There's no way we should still be dealing with a two-party system.
Yeah, it failed.
Always had a viable third party. So people say, well, I don't want either or the Democrat or
no, I think they should do away with the party system. We're Americans.
I agree.
We're Americans, and that's just the way it should be. Is you vote for the favorite candidate, and the best man wins. That's the way we should be. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you're a candidate and you got extremist views, you should not be on the damn ticket. You know, I don't know what else to say about that. You know,
and if you are a crook, you should not be on the ticket.
No.
And if you're a grifter,
and there's a risk. There's a risk with what I'm saying for minorities, but I don't know how else because you know we probably won't never win. I don't know. I don't know how to fix this system, but it's broken. You know.
We need a reset. We need a complete reset, but a reset would mean the fall of the country and the rebuild.
Yeah.
So that's what we need, but you really don't need that because you see all of the foolishness that goes on in the world. So you really don't want that. It shouldn't have to fall in order for change. It shouldn't have to completely fall flat in order for it to rebuild. But y'all know what we need is a reset because everything is just so ugly.
Yeah, and the money in the system is just really what's throwing this off.
Yeah, the lobbyist money.
Yeah, because the system doesn't work. It's not a democracy no more, especially with with the money in the system. Especially when we know we got evidence that Clarence Thomas is bought. So the Supreme Court is just bought off now, and
Alito, they bought. It's just
all of them. They get
and just like you just explained about Hakeem Jeffers and all of those people are bought off. So that means that the money is in the system, and so it's not okay. We do have a democracy supposedly, but you know we see that the democracy is corrupted, and it's just the people.
Capitalistic democracy.
The people ain't. The people ain't running the system no more. It just isn't working.
It's money running the system. If you got who got the biggest buck, influence, and power. You could be a corporation and you could shake shit around if you got plenty of money, and then you could reach because they know, they say, all right, how are we going to be able to make an impact? We're going to reach politicians. We get all the whatever permits we need. We get whatever approvals. If we put that money up, we know that we could sway them our way. But then it's a competition because you got other corporations doing the same shit. So they're taking money from left and right. Like, oh, shit, this one wants this. Oh, and so what you think it makes the politicians' mind, like, they become corrupt. It's like, shit, they giving me a check here, envelope here. I'm going to help them out. Yeah. It's fucked up.
I said this years ago on TRS. That black people, we always so behind the times. We should have been got our groups.
Get them
everybody
envelopes.
Donate $1 or $2 and buy us some politicians. I said this.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to tell them about how to. I mean, people. That's what I was trying to talk to Allfax and them about when they was talking about voting down ballot about building about building black super PACs and all that kind of stuff. Whenever they would talk about reparations and all that kind of bullshit, and I was telling them how the system works, but they were talking about, hey, that means you got to put money in. Yeah, if you want reparations, you got to build these black super PACs so you can, put money in the system, just like they're doing. That's how the Tea Party got started, and that's how Donald Trump got into office, because they built these super PACs, they built the Tea Party, and they put this motherfucker in office with money.
And they put
Yeah.
And they put the money there. And that's what I was saying. And even black folks, if y'all got a credit card, wherever you can get the money, we can build up, like you said, these super PACs, these lobbyists, and everybody put $1 or $5, $10, whatever you can spare. And let's get us some money together and buy some politicians. That's what other groups and other people do. But we have not done that. It's just like the Jewish community. Look at AIPAC. Oh my God.
Right.
And but you got
why
a
they
lot
powerful.
of Christian and a lot of Christian evangelicals pour money, but the reason they doing it is crazy. I'm not going to get into it, but a lot of evangelical groups, they pour money into AIPAC and stuff, and they get what they want. Look at everything that's going on, and they sending them another $24 billion. We should have been doing this, putting together money. If you ain't got no money, see if you can get a Aspire, whatever you call that cheap credit card, and take $5, $10 off a month. We should have been doing this and buy. We should have had Hakeem Jeffries, us, the black folks, had him bought and paid for. We should have went around. Who else can we buy and pay for? Buy some of them. Buy some Republicans. Buy them. Pay for them.
Nah, but we wanna give our money to Tariq Nasheed and Yvette Cornell and
to the church,
and all
to
of
the
them
church,
people.
to the church.
You know, that's...
Now wait a minute, but Yvette Cornell, I'm gonna take up a little bit because they were given a very good. They were trying to teach people how politics run. They were trying to teach people how all this stuff we're talking about is run. So that was needed.
Well, it was probably needed, but it wasn't making no change. It wasn't.
But the vote down ballot, I had to get off the train on that. But the politics education was a lot of people learned a lot about the politics education from watching their videos. I was down with that. But then I got off the train when this election was cut up. They was talking about vote. This was too serious, so I had to jump off the train.
Well, when they started telling people not to vote and all this kind of crap and withhold your vote and all of that, yeah,
I had to get off that. But we should have been, and I'm saying this for years. The black community needs to buy politicians because the Latinos do. We should have been doing that. We should have been doing that. Certain things, y'all want reparations. Y'all want different things. We might have had some of that stuff by now had we been doing like everybody else, try to build us up. Some of these mega donors, these mega PACs and stuff like that. We should have been doing that because it's sad to say, but until that stuff becomes illegal, these lobbyists and stuff pouring this money into these politicians.
They're gonna keep on doing
it.
Well, yeah, you got to get in the system. You got to get in the system. You got to put people. You got to put people into place, and you got to get rid of these corrupt people. You're gonna get people up there that's not gonna do right, and you got to get rid of them. And then you got to get the people in the place you got to get the people in the place that's gonna do the right stuff, and it's gonna be
change that law and change that with the lobby.
There's some politicians that I know. Some of them is coming out of the state of Maryland. That's the head of this, that. The top leading Congress leaders who were old. Some of them people, some of our mega PACs could have gotten behind some of them people that donate some. We could have been making some moves, but too many of our people was in the church praying. Tell the truth, shut you down. We got to tell the truth. They up in the church. Playing the church, giving money to the church, paying for a new day. And, yeah, I'm with y'all with that. Then we got some of our people out here with a bunch of marching and different things like that. But nobody was really putting their money where their mouth is. And we should have been doing that. Did I get disconnected?
No, you're on.
That's what we should have got smart. And people always talk about, but the Korean people, and that was the biggest lie ever told. But black people love to say this. That Korean people, not just Korean, Asian communities, they really don't care about politics. They don't get involved.
They doing that
Who
shit.
you lied to? Who you lied to? They give money to stuff. They got
a Chinatown in every major city. They got a Chinese restaurant on every damn other block.
And when you go in and look, because I've seen it in some of the stores and the restaurants here, they had up certain pictures of politicians in the front of their cleaners, the restaurants.
Oh, yeah, they
doing
came
the
in.
same thing.
Yeah.
They doing the same thing. They get together in packs and donate to people to do their bidding. And we just too stupid to not do that too. So that's where we are. We're not stupid. We just never really had, a lot of black people don't have throwaway money or extra money, for things like that. But I think we should have made our people find it. Find it. Because if you got it to give to the church, you got it to do this. And if you got it to do certain things, you got it to do this. Should have made our people come up with that money. We should have been doing this since back in the 50s and 60s, starting out back then. And then we would be someplace by now. That's just me. That's how I've always looked at it. Because that's how the game is played. But not enough of our people got involved in the game. When legislation, rules, and not enough of our people get that. Legislation and policy, rules. Why should I vote? It doesn't matter. Yes, it does. It matters to them so much that you just don't know how it matters. On the local level and all the way up. A lot of our people just not, I don't vote because it don't change nothing. Nothing has changed because you ain't voting. You're not involved in the game. That's the game. And you who are the people who own Walmart, the Waltons, or whatever the name of their family is? They hold something. Them people is wealthy. They wealthy, and they get government welfare to subsidize their.
That's how they got the Walmarts in every major city.
The government subsidizing employees with extra money, welfare, child care, and they get while the owners of the company gets to keep a larger portion of the profits that they hoard, but the government is picking up the rest. Everybody's playing the game with us. This is a game, and you got to learn how to play it. And I just don't understand it. Our people, I ain't voting because it don't change nothing. That kills me every time I hear it. Then why is white people playing the game? Why is the rich people getting richer? Why are we still not getting richer? Rich like we should be getting because we're not playing that game. But I don't care. It's just sad. And it happens on the lower level. Really quick, in our area, when they was going to bring in more of the casinos, they did come, and then we found out that they had a private meeting with some of the legislation in the state of Maryland with the casinos. They had a closed door. Public didn't know. They did closed door. And the casino did that, and then they voted. Some of them people are gone now. That was in the government legislation. Some of them are gone once people found out. And they had a closed door meeting, and they voted, and they gave the casinos the green light to come and to go ahead and get started. That's fine. No one was against the casino. But by doing closed door, what they did, the public didn't know that they did this and they did this voting, but because the people were saying, well, if the casinos is coming, we want new roads, we want some community centers, y'all want to redo all the roads so it doesn't upset the traffic. We want the community centers in the neighborhoods. We want computers, this, that. Y'all, we want y'all to donate this amount of money to the schools. We want this stuff, because y'all, we know what y'all coming here to, y'all going to make billions. So this is what we want for our communities. This is what we want. Y'all going to do all of this, and then we want this, and we want that. Nothing wrong with that. That's what communities do. But by them having closed door meetings, they gave them the green light, and people didn't know about this. So at the primaries that year, a lot of people was coming out to vote at the primaries, and they had these people out there with these clipboards, walking the line, telling people this is what happened. Legislature had a closed door meeting with the casinos. They said, we ain't going to let them get away with this. And they were informing the people in the line. And I said, I'm going to take up me a clipboard. I'm getting involved in this. Because nobody knew this happened. And but now you can't do things like that. Anyway. And they were informing the people. Then the commercials got started on YouTube and all over the place. Look, citizens of Maryland, this here was done that y'all didn't know about. And the people got in uprage. And they said, so this what they was calling, whatever, such and such, I think it was 4 or 3. Vote against that. And what that will do is make them come back to the table with an open door meeting, and then we will make our demands. But they had to let the people know what went on. And I'll be damned, the people voted that thing down so that after they got the word out. So that meant the casinos had to come back to the bargaining table that was open to the community and the community leaders. And we said, we saw what y'all tried to do. Now we want this, that, and the third, and y'all going to give us this. And they said yes to all the demands. That's the game that we got to get involved in. That's the type of game, even on the local level, you got to get involved in that. And thank goodness for the people who are involved, that were able to inform the people, look what they did behind our back. Vote proposition, whatever, down. Vote that down. And then they tried to play scare tactics. Well, all you're going to do is run off the casinos. Those is going to be jobs. This is going to be that. They just want you to run off to the casinos. Then the counter commercials came up because people was donating money. No, the casinos is coming. That's a foregone conclusion. They're coming. By voting this down, it's not going to run off the casinos. It's going to make them have to come back to the table. They're coming. They've already got the land and everything sectioned out. They're coming. Don't worry about that. The jobs, everything's coming. But they got to come back to the table, and we're going to redo that what they did behind everybody's back. And they voted it down. And the casinos had to come back to the table. And they said, okay, we want this, and that. And all of the people in the counties in Maryland, we want them to have first dibs to the job before D.C. and Virginia. And we want this, we want that. And they agreed to it because they was coming anyway. But see, it's that type of stuff when you're not involved in the game. And a lot of areas got beautiful community centers with Olympic-sized swimming pools. The schools got money for this. They built them roads because if they didn't do them roads, taxpayers was going to have to rebuild them roads. They paid the money to build them roads and do all of that. This is the kind of stuff by not being in the game you don't know about. So I take this politics and this kind of stuff serious because it is serious.
All right, y'all. I'm gonna have to get off
of
here.
Oh my goodness, it is 12:30. Me too. I'm just running my mouth.
I'm gonna open the lines.
Good show, y'all.
Lisa and Jay and somebody just dropped off here. I forgot who the other. Big J.
Big J. And
Antoinette was on here.
And what's his name? He called in. He left. Oh, I can't forget. He called in Tyrone.
Oh, so Antoinette?
No.
Big J?
I keep forget his name.
Oh,
no,
Joe.
Joe. Joe. He called in.
All right. Yeah, if y'all want to call in, Sarge been in the chat room Vince tweeting all night. So if you want to call in and yell something, Sarge, you can.
You got his Trump nail polish on.
I'm gonna open up the lines.
Q&A session is over. All participants are unmuted.
If y'all want to call in, y'all can. I appreciate it, Lisa.
I'm gonna talk to you guys next week because I did a lot of running my mouth tonight, but it's just a lot going on.
Thanks for having the show.
All right, I'll talk to y'all later.
Tyrone.
No problem.
And I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, bye-bye.